Hey everyone, GameHounds podcast. Sorry, we're late. I mean, we're actually earlier later than we usually are. Hi. So guess what I've been doing?
Training?
Packing.
Ah,
I leave Wednesday.
you do.
Well, yeah, Wednesday morning I am on a plane at 11:30 in the morning and I won't be back until the 1st of November. And shit's getting real.
It's now suddenly hitting you.
Yeah, now I'm starting to get, like, the travel anxiety. Like, it went from, "Oh, I got loads of time," to, "Oh my god, I have no time at all." So, yeah, I've been, doing a lot of packing. Well, it's not that much packing, it's just a lot of prepping because all of your clothes have to be well, don't have to be. I've chosen to treat them so that they are mosquito repellent to a certain point.
Okay, that's cool.
Which was a whole day of spraying and drying a bunch of stuff on, like, the one day it actually rains here. I put it all out to dry and it starts to rain, motherfucker. So you'll notice that I have both of my eyes. They are both white and clear. They look great. There's no, like, anything no weirdness going on up there. Did I tell you?
Tell
No,
me.
I didn't. Last week, I had the eye infection, so I didn't tell you the upshot of the eye infection. I mentioned it on the Starfield stream that I did on Monday night, but I didn't mention it here. So, yeah, the eye infection. I thought it was, like, just an average case of pink eye or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Sunday night, my eyes, even though I had antibiotics, I was, you know, just kind of chilling and trying to take care of my eye, and it was hurting like a mofo. I mean, it had always been hurting, but it really started to hurt. And um so actually yeah, okay. So it was Sunday. Sunday, it really started to hurt. And I thought to myself, the only thing that I've had in my eye, and it was like immediately adjacent to me waking up with this horrible eye infection, were these contacts that I had
Oh, yeah.
worn.
I remember you told me about the contacts.
Right. Okay. So I thought to myself, let me just see, maybe I have an allergy to it. Kind of weird that it would only be in one eye. But I decided to go and look at these tester contacts that the optometrist had given me to see what the brand was. And as I'm looking for the brand, I can't find the brand, so I'm having to really, really, really look hard. And I'm looking at codes and I'm looking at numbers, like maybe I can discern it from like the serial numbers. And I get to the one, I was looking at the right one, and it was like I still couldn't find it. So I actually put it down, went and did some research, came back, and when I picked it up, I was looking at the left eye side because they were rubber banded together. And I looked at the left eye side and I'm like, okay, maybe there's some other code here. And then I look at the left eye, which is where I had the infection, and I notice the expiration date 2021.
For the contacts?
I got given expired and non-sterile, apparently, polluted,
Ooh.
contacts and had them in my eyes all day. That's what gave me this horrible eye infection that was you saw it on Sunday when it really hadn't gotten underway hardcore. By Sunday night, I mean, close your ears if you really can't handle gross stuff, trigger warning. Um, by Sunday night, my eye was leaking pus.
I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. So I went into I contacted the optometrist and was like on the down low, like, hey, Monday morning I called her and she was actually out of town in Los Angeles, but spoke to her on the phone and because I called her cell phone and said, hey, so here's what happened. She was freaking out. She's like, tomorrow morning, I'm home tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, you come in first thing in the morning. How early can you get there? I'm there at 10. Okay, be there at 10. I want to look at your eye. I need to make sure there is nothing. I'm like, well, the urgent care person looked at it and she's like, I don't care. I want to make sure. I want to triple, quadruple check your eye because these are the things that can cause you to go blind. So she had me come in, she checked out the medication, she checked out my eye. She's like, "Your eye is gonna be is fine. There's no, like, ulcers or physical damage. The cornea looks good. You're fine." That being said, she's like, I'm so sorry. We have a practice of going through all of our equipment, all of our supplies, and taking and doing this, very regularly. But somehow this batch got missed. So I'm super sorry. She gave me another batch, and she's like, I'm going to pay for your copay, and whatever happens, we're going to be giving you free contacts, whichever ones you want. So I essentially now have like free eye exams for life.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that was a major fuck up. That was almost bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, especially with me going out of town to a place where it's like I can't even drink the water, much less wash my hands and stick my finger in my eye. So, or at least be like rubbing my eyes, leaking pus all over the place. So it happened early enough that it wasn't horrible, and it cleared up with, I think, Friday morning was the first morning I woke up without having my eye sealed shut. So it was a long, long recovery, but yeah, my eye's good now. So that was the story, the upshot of the what the hell's going on with my eye? Just making things more interesting.
Fun.
Yeah. And yesterday I bought 2 alarm clocks. Well, not alarm clocks, 2 digital clocks that I'm taking to work with me. One of them I'm gonna put on my desk. The other one I'm gonna put in my boss's office, and I'm gonna set them to Bali time. So
Hmm.
they know how long it will be before I can reply to their emails.
That's a good idea. Good plan.
Yeah. But it is kind of I've had it set, and it is kind of, like, interesting to see, how much what the difference is in time. Like, I went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was, like, 5 o'clock in the afternoon there. So, I'm gonna have a real hard time getting acclimated.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Yeah, so who we got in the chat? Hey, C. Wraith, welcome. Thank you for reminding everyone of the Patreon. I appreciate that. We are 100% Patreon funded. So if you are a regular watcher of this, or even if you watch it on YouTube after the fact, if you're a regular watcher, please do me a favor. We only ask for $1 a month. $1 a month is all we ask to help keep the financial burden of having to pay for everything, because not only do we pay for the services that we use, but also the storage of all of the former shows. Yeah, that costs money. So if you can help with the burden, it doesn't take much, 25 cents a show, realistically, or less on months where there's 5 Sundays. Yeah, 25 cents a show, $1 a month, all we ask. Patreon.com/GameHounds. And if you're watching, no matter where you are, Twitch, YouTube, see that little button about liking or subscribing? Now would be a good time to do that. Now would be a great time to hit the like button or the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, and it does help a lot. Um, have you watched my other new channel that I launched kind of as on a lark?
No, not yet. I haven't seen
Oh,
videos
you
of it.
haven't?
I
Okay.
haven't.
Yeah. If you are interested in just like watching something completely chill, I started a new channel that is really, I mean, it wasn't like I wanted to. It's actually because of AC Ray and his suggestion. I have a GoPro that I use that I have on my shoulder whenever I take my scooter from the ferry to work, because I essentially have it for safety reasons. In case there's ever an accident, I will have film evidence of what the hell happened. Well, um, it's just super easy to just upload it to YouTube. So I started a channel called The Daily Scoot. In fact, I should need to pull up YouTube anyway. But The Daily Scoot is essentially first person view of my travels all around San Francisco. It happened to be that it was when I started it that I was doing a lot of traveling more than just my place. Like I went down the ferry building to go pick up bread at the end of the day, had to go deliver a computer out south of Market. I had my when I went to the uh my scuba class in south of Market at night. So they're all different scoots. And I'm going to continue to do those while I'm in Indonesia, while I'm in Bali. So you will be getting more than just San Francisco scoots. You will be getting Bali scoots. So if you want to know what I'm seeing, where I am, what's the latest, let me show you you will know it because it's purple. It's
No,
hard to
AC Wraith
miss.
says you have competition for the name on TikTok.
Oh, I do. Didn't know that. I may have to change the name. Um, but you know what? That's fine. I mean, there's a lot of other channels that are Daily Scoot, not the Daily Scoot, but Daily Scoot. There's like 3 or 4 of them on YouTube. None of them are actually posting. So I don't really care if there's
Hmm.
competition for someone doing a Daily Scoot on TikTok.
No,
Because
you gotta force them out.
oh,
You
nothing
are the
I don't care.
only daily scooter.
No, and I will force them out by attrition, by just putting up stuff. And it happened to be a week that when I started doing this, just as I started doing that, that I'm sitting on the bow of my it's this one right here. I'm sitting, let me by the way, if you watch it, you have a choice when you watch it. You can either watch it with closed captions or without. Without closed captions, obviously, it's just the scoot. You're just seeing me travel. It's, something to chill by. If you put on the closed captions, you actually get my writer commentary of what you're actually seeing and what's going on. Like, for example, on this one. So my scooter was on the bow of the ship. That's where they put where we store our bikes and stuff. And so we get let off first. So everybody with the bike goes out into the bow, gets their bike ready before everybody, in anticipation of getting off. And as we're sitting there waiting to pull up the ramp and everything so we can get off the boat, I'm looking and I'm seeing, and you can see it over here, all these fire engines. And I'm thinking to myself, huh, there's something going on. And I'm starting to see, like, there's an ambulance over here, and there's you can't see it on this one, but there's fire engines all the way down the pier. And I'm like, huh, something must be going on. And I look over my shoulder to the dock right here, and they're doing chest compressions. It's the San Francisco Fire Department doing chest compressions on some guy. And I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign. And it's like, really? What's going on? I'm like, that's chest compressions. That means something ain't good. And it's yeah, this is not a good sign. So by the time from the point that I got off the boat to right here, They had stopped chest compressions. Not because they saved the guy or gal. I don't know. So I'm actually walking through a scene where somebody had died, had probably had a heart attack getting off a ship or going to work that day. So I do not show it, obviously. I mention it in the user commentary, and that's about it. So, like, things like that. If you don't wanna see all of the commentary, you just turn off the closed caption. If you do, then you can turn on the closed captioning. I can tell you what you're seeing and some of the history of the buildings and what's going through my head and who's the idiot that just pulled out in front of me and almost hit me, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is again the Daily Scoop, and I am Scoot Bootin. So yeah, feel free to follow it if you like, especially for the next month, because I'm going to be having daily scoots from Indonesia.
Yeah, for one daily scoot.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe not the first couple of days because I'm probably going to be sleeping and trying to get my bearings. But we're going to be renting a scooter and just taking the scooter everywhere we go. Yeah, I did use closed captions like the old annotation system, mostly because some people wanna see that stuff, some people don't. Now you have a choice. You can either just watch it and just let it roll and not even think about it, or if you see something, you can roll it back and, like, turn it on and see what that is. So Edie's Daily Scoot? Nah, I don't want anybody to know my name. I just wanna be Scoot Daily Scoot Bootin'. 25 cents is where we can now show a fly landing on Edie's eye and have it paid for? What? Oh, are you talking about Aeon Flux?
Something with the Patreon?
Maybe? Oh, help pay for things that are not eye contacts, yeah. Yeah, Chunderbox, it could have ruined my life. Absolutely. Fortunately, I got strong eyeballs. AC Ray says, "I miss the old system, the annotation system. I had all my game demos explained and it all got ruined." Yeah. Like old Africa charity commercials? Oh, the eyes. Oh, yeah. The eyes. The got it. Yes. Oh, God. Those were shameless. Anyway, 18 minutes into the show. How are you, Nick?
I'm
Actually,
doing pretty good.
let's do it. Let's do it because, it's just to keep it going. Let's do an intro.
What? Oh,
Podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 694. We are recording this on October 1st, 2023. I am Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola.
hey.
My last show before I head out to the tropics where it is 90 degrees.
Is
right
it
now.
humid there,
Actually,
or is it a dry
oh God, yes. Oh,
okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty much going to be stewing in my own juices for the entire time.
Okay, that sounds less appealing.
I've been in I've never been in the tropics like that, but I've been in like Florida. And it's you get used to it. You get used to the smell of your own pits everywhere.
Ah, pleasant. Living that Bali life, that tropic life.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm expecting to just be in like swim trunks the entire time.
Why wouldn't you be?
No, yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking 3 pairs of shoes, all of them are water shoes.
Huh.
All of them are water shoes. Actually, take it back, 1 pair of sandals. So, how are you? What's new with you?
I'm doing well. I went to my 20-year high school reunion the other week.
First off, what's on your forehead?
Oh, that's probably a
Yeah,
scar thing.
what happened?
Eh, It's been there a while. I have this scar up there from a bug. Uh, and so I was putting a cream on there to get rid of it.
Oh, okay. Yep. So,
Yes,
20th
20th high school
high
reunion.
school the only high school reunion was my 20th that I went to. Was my
Ditto.
20th.
There was a 10th, but I didn't go to it.
Yeah, nobody goes to the 10th. How was the 20th?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It's like catching up with all the old friends. It was good to see them again.
Were there any people that you would have never recognized that looked so different from high school you
Oh,
would
absolutely.
pass them and like, "Oh, I have no idea it was you."
Absolutely.
Yeah. We had a member of our football team that I sat there and stared at him and couldn't I couldn't find his old face his young face in his
hmm
grown-up face. I just couldn't find it. I just kept staring at him going, "How is that Drew Radke? How can that be? I don't see Drew Radke in his face anywhere." But it was
There
Drew
were a few
Radke.
people like that, but it's funny. Most of my really close friends, they looked,
Exactly the same.
yeah, the same. Not exactly the same. They looked older, but recognizably older.
Yeah. Same with me. Most of my really super close friends, I looked. I have no idea what they look like now. That
Mm.
was another 20 years on for my 20th high school reunion. Yeah. It's weird to think you've been graduated from high school for 20 years, huh?
I know. I think that means I'm officially old. I'm
Yeah.
officially an old right now.
Here's
hmm
that moment. I had this moment in a bar in Florida. The moment that you realize that your high school diploma can legally drink. Like, I remember when my high school diploma, I'm like, "Oh my god, my high school diploma can get a driver's license." And then it was like, "Okay." I was in a bar and it's like, "You must be been born after this to be served." And I looked at it and like, "Holy crap, my high school diploma could drink right now and not get busted. Damn it. Damn it." That was a moment I felt super old.
Mm,
So, did you have fun?
yeah.
Did you have any questions of whether you should go?
Yes. Just because I didn't go to the 10th, and so I wasn't sure. One of my friends set up like a pre-reunion that's kind of just our group that we went to on the Friday
Mhm.
before. And I think that was more fun just because smaller group of people that I knew better.
Right.
What's funny is in the actual reunion itself, everyone kind of split off into the same cliques that they were in high school, right? Everyone goes
Yep.
and hangs out with the people they knew.
Yep. Oh, yeah, of course. Um, yeah, I remember I was for my 20th,
Sorry, Shepard.
I was working at KGO, and it was one of the topics that I had. I had to do an overnight, which was from 1 AM to 5 AM. And, it's still a lot of people listening, but still it was not like, daytime listenership. So it
hmm
was only maybe a couple million people listening. And I did a show on high school reunions. Should you go? What do you expect? Have you gone to a family or a high school reunion and regretted it? Have you not wanted to go to high school reunion and then gone and be glad you did? What is your high school reunion story?
Hmm.
Because everybody's gone at least to one. And would you go again if you'd done it before? And people telling me like, is it going to be that bad? Should I go? Because I was on the fence and they convinced me to go and I had a great time. I'm glad I went. Never going to go again, but I'm
I,
glad I
I
went.
I have a hard time seeing how it could be an awful experience.
It depends on how well your high school years went. Mine were not great.
But like even then,
Mine were really not great.
it's 20 years later.
Yeah, but it all depends on how bad you were bullied. All depends on that. And believe me, high school bullying is way worse than middle school bullying. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why is that I got the hell out of my town for a lot of reasons.
Hmm.
I was the drama kid. I was the, like the AP English kid, the summer Shakespeare kid, um, and also the talkative one. So it's not like I could have just hidden in the corner. Everybody knew me. Everybody knew I was a nerd. And this was at a time when being a nerd was not a good thing. Not a good thing. We're talking about the 80s. This was the height of nerds being, abused.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds came out when I was in high school. That was the mindset. So, yeah.
As she says, I haven't gone to mine yet, but come 2025, I think I'd like to go if I hear about it.
Yeah, you weren't bullied.
Uh,
Yeah.
hey, have at least one friend on Facebook because none of my group or few of my group are on Facebook, but that's where the whole thing was announced. And so
Yeah.
the one friend I have that put together the pre-reunion is on Facebook.
Mhm.
And so he's like, "Oh, he he stays in touch with people.
Yeah.
He's good about doing that. You
I'm
need
on
someone that
Facebook.
does that. I don't do that.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and they invite me every year and a few people
Every
always like
year.
reach out like, "Oh my god, I remember you, Edie. You were so into drama and we were convinced you were going to be an actress." It's like, I remember you too, but not in the same way, dear. So, yeah, I just kind of stay away. But I may go, what, 80? We're going up to the 40th reunion coming up now. I may to go to 40. If I'm around at 50, I'll definitely go to 50 because hopefully most of my bullies are dead.
Played long game, motherfucker.
It's right. You know me. I hold grudges forever.
Hmm.
Like,
And you know what? If by that time, if they ain't dead, they will be
that's
once you
right.
get
That's
there.
right. No. Hey, they had a heart attack at a high school reunion. I have no idea what happened to them.
Oh, I'm thinking like mass slaughter. I'm thinking slasher movie at a 50-year-old high school reunion. Actually, you know what? Why don't they do that? There's plenty of slasher movies that take place like with college kids and high school kids. They need a slasher movie that takes place in like
At
a
a high school
50-year-old
reunion.
high school reunion when everyone's
Yep.
like 60. Th- yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Uh,
that could be a good. That could be a good. That's a good gimmick.
AC Ray says nerds bullied so bad that masked sexual assault is excused in a movie. Yep.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, I'll have to contact someone by then or at least be near them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, generally speaking, the high school reunions, I don't know if you're in the United States, but generally speaking, high school reunions, they will make a high school reunion page on Facebook. So it's an excuse to kind of stay on Facebook. It may be that, in the future, it's a high school reunion Instagram or high school reunion TikTok channel. Yes. Revenge of the Nerds. Oh, so much wrong with that movie. Other than the fact that it was making fun of nerds. Like laughing at them, not with them. And then of course
Oh
there's the
yeah.
sexual assault. Anyway, moving right along. What were you playing this week?
I have started Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, I know I want to play that game so bad, but I knew I have to play Starfield. You know why? Because I can't afford to play Baldur's Gate. Because if I do, I'm not going to get everything I need to get done before I leave.
Oh
And then I'm
no.
going to be away from it for a month, which will just make me upset. So, Baldur's Gate. Is it
Okay.
is it all
I
that?
I want to like uh uh start with the negative things.
Okay.
Um it's very clearly like a PC game designed on consoles.
Mhm.
But I've played this type of game on consoles before, and usually the interface is clunkier and a bit more awkward. This one, I think they did a really good job adapting just the sheer density of systems to a controller. And this does lead to a couple of like finicky, not finicky, but like a lot of menu navigation. So there's like I got to this one trap area, and it's
Mhm.
like, okay, if I do something, I'm going to trigger poisonous gas to come out of these vents, and I could see the vents on the floor. So what I knew I could do is I could pick up crates and put them on the vents to block the gas from coming out, which like, on its own is a really cool system, a really cool like clever way to get around a trap. So like I had to figure out how I don't want to pick up a crate and throw it. I want to pick it up and drop it. But dropping an item, you can't like figure out exactly where you need to go. So it was a bit fiddly with the menus of having a character pick up a bunch of crates, then walk over near the vent, open my character sheet, select the crate, hit the square button, go to move, and then I get a chance to kind of move the crate around and drop it in a specific location. And like it worked really well. And the more I play, I don't know how long I put into it. But like I'm starting to get accustomed to the menu navigation because it doesn't quite have the same pattern that other games do. For example, if you go into the character sheet, most console games have you navigate using the trigger buttons, right?
Mhm.
R1 and L1 navigate through like main pages, and then R2, L2 navigate through sub pages or things like
Right.
that. That's not the case here. And I imagine this is probably some sort of limitation on, adapting it from PC. Here, you use R1 and L1 to navigate through the main pages, but then you use L2 to kind of open a vertical bar on the side of the screen where you then select the character, and that
Mhm.
becomes your main character.
Okay.
And then you can kind of choose what to equip, what to that. But like you're just using L2. R2 is for fuck, I even forget what R2 is for. But it's just like a system like that that's like, okay, I need to kind of retrain my muscle memory a little bit. Um because there's just so many options for things to do.
Yeah.
I can definitely see how it could be overwhelming. And I think I had an advantage going in because I've watched so many people play, so that I kind of knew, oh, this guy threw an acid vat at me, and now I'm surrounded by acid. If I walk through it, I'm going to take damage, but I could jump
Mhm.
and just get out of it without having to walk through it and take any more acid damage. Uh, and the game, I think, does a pretty good job of showing you all the moves at your disposal in combat.
Mhm.
This looks like the PC version specifically. I can tell by the menu at the bottom.
Yeah. You know what? I asked for a PlayStation 1, so let me see if I can find one that is a PC one or a PlayStation 1.
So yeah, what the console does in combat is you hit the trigger buttons R1 L1, and it brings up a series of radial menus. And it's like one set of those radial menus will be your special attacks, right? This is my magic, my spells, my the special abilities I get from like a magic item that I have. Then another circle will be all of my like generic actions: jump, throw, help someone up, dash, hide. That's all one. And then past that, you get into items that you can use. And
Mhm.
what's neat is, this is D&D, and so you've got actions and bonus actions. If you use an action and then you open the radio menu, all the things that take an action will be grayed out. So you can very, very quickly see what can I
Discern
still do.
between what's
Yeah, so it's nice that hey, I moved, I did an attack, I've got a bonus action. What can I do? I open the radio menus and can very quickly browse through my options to see, is there anything else I want to do? Can I do anything? No. Okay, then I'll end my turn. So that's really cool. I think the biggest issue is just the density and being able to like figure it out. I do think the more time I spend with it, that it does a pretty good job of transitioning all this to a controller. It's just that you kind of have to get used to it differently. It doesn't
it's a bit
control like
clunky, it sounds like. It's good, but it's still clunky.
yeah, the thing is it doesn't control like a third person action game the way Dragon Age did,
Mhm.
right? This is a top-down CRPG game, and while you can zoom the camera in real close to kind of make it third person, it still doesn't quite control the same way. The camera doesn't act the same way.
Right.
Um, but the reason I want to start with those is because, dude, everything about this game is fucking awesome. This game is so cool. This game is
Is it?
so good.
Oh, shit.
This game scratches a nostalgic itch that I didn't realize I had. This is an RPG ass RPG. This is like, hey, I enjoyed Final Fantasy 16, but you know what? That was more an action game than an RPG. Hey, Starfield was pretty cool, but you know what? It was kind of streamlined. You know, they kind of took out a lot of the complexity. You want a game that's like, hey, motherfucker, you're going to spend 2 hours in character creation thinking, do I want this spell or that spell? Do I want this stat or that stat? Like this, do you want to explore an overworld with companions and have them comment and talk to each other? You know, oh yeah, Mike, someone's going to bring up a little conversation and they're going to go back and forth. Do you want to travel with some companions that absolutely fucking hate each other and bicker the whole way? Or you could switch them out for two companions that really get along and are like, oh man, you're cool. I like you. Like this, it feels like playing Dragon Age Origins for the first time.
Oh.
When I remember
Oh, God, you're killing me. You're killing me right now.
there had been a lot of CRPGs that came out before Dragon Age.
Mm.
Like Dragon Age was an evolution of kind of in the same way Baldur's Gate 3 is. Dragon
Mhm.
Age Origins was trying to take that CRPG PC game and translate it to consoles.
Mhm.
And so for someone like me that missed out on the kind of 90s era CRPG, that was sort of a revelatory thing. It was like, oh shit, I've only played JRPGs my whole childhood, and now I'm kind of being exposed to this whole other style of RPG. And that was really cool and eye-opening. And playing Baldur's Gate 3 now makes me realize no one else has tried to do it. Like no one, even the subsequent Dragon Age games have kind of stepped back from what made Dragon Age Origins so revelatory when it came out. And even like just last year, I was playing a lot of Pillars of Eternity 2, which is another CRPG game on console, on PlayStation. It was really cool, but it didn't have the level of production value that this game has that I think really sets it apart and makes me compare it to Dragon Age Origins, which was, you know, at the time, a really cinematic game. Usually, these CRPGs, when you get into a conversation, um, the camera is still pulled back to an isometric view and you get text boxes of the conversation. But in this one, because of the high production values, it zooms in real close and you get the characters acting, like actually acting to the degree where, hey, do you want to play a game where a character is talking and even if you read the subtitles, you don't skip ahead because you want to hear them say the words? That's what this
Mhm.
game is that I don't want to skip through the dialogue. I
Right.
want to actually hear them say it. Yeah, it's really fascinating. Uh, uh There's so many things
Oh,
that
there's something called dialogue history, so you can actually look back to see what your dialogue has been with that person?
yes.
Oh, that's kinda nice.
And I don't know how far back it goes. I think it's just in the scene. But there's definitely been moments where I'm like, "Oh wait, what did you say 2 seconds ago?" And you can
Yeah.
bring up dialogue history. Um, yes. So the story is that you and a bunch of these other people got kidnapped by a mind flayer, which is basically a Cthulhu-esque monster in the D&D verse. Uh, some shit goes wrong. The ship, mind flayer ship, crashes, and you and the others, you kind of stumble out of it. And as you explore the crash site, you kind of start picking up more and more survivors. All of these survivors you're psychically linked to because you all have mind flayer tadpoles in your brain.
Right.
Now, normally that's how new mind flayers are born. But curiously, you're not changing. So as you go through the opening area, you kind of very quickly collect, a group of travelers with you, and very quickly you're like, "Oh, this new person. Oh, I have this psychic link. You've got a tadpole too. Why don't you join my crew?" And all of the characters are really interesting so far. They all have very distinct personality, and it's it's interesting to compare this to Starfield. Just in that, in Starfield, when you meet someone and you're like, "Hey, tell me about yourself," they give you a 9-page personal essay
Right.
about who they are, what they believe in, what drives them, well, what is their secret desire, who are they at their core. Like, they tell you everything. In this game, when you meet someone new and you're like, "Hey, tell me about yourself," they're like, "Why? I don't know you. Fuck off." And it's like, okay, let's travel for a bit. Let's do a long rest, which kind of is
Yeah.
where the big story moments happen. And then you have moments where someone says, "Hey, I see what you did in those 2 scenarios like that happened. I think I can trust you. So I'm going to
Mhm.
tell you this thing about myself." And that feeling of, "Oh, I'm growing to know these characters."
The
Like it's a
relationships seem organic.
progress. Exactly. That's
Interesting.
it, it's like it's a simple thing, but it's also a simple thing that, like I said, Starfield doesn't really do. Um,
Mm-mm.
this is like, hey, this this has that focus on characters that made you love BioWare games in the beginning. That's why I compared it to Dragon Age Origins.
Right.
It's like it's from that same lineage.
Yeah. Chunderbox asked, "Is it similar to their previous game, Divinity Original Sin 2?" That was a brilliant game.
I do think it is. I think it controls on console a lot better than Original Sin 2 did. Um, I found Original Sin 2 to be hard as hell. And maybe I just didn't quite wrap my brain around the combat. But I
Mhm.
found this one to be a little easier, which isn't to say it's not hard. This is a game, man, you got to quick save whenever you quick save every 5 minutes. Quick save every 2 minutes because it's very likely that you can accidentally trigger a fight that suddenly becomes life and death. Um there was one fight I got into with some people that were next to a what was it next to a tomb, and they're like, "Oh, there's monsters in the tomb," blah blah blah. So I walked up to them, thinking like, "Oh, this is a quest I'll be able to do, right? There's monsters in the tomb. Let me go clear it out, and like we'll split the rewards." They go, "Hey, who are you? Fuck off. We were here first. You can't get the tomb." I failed a perception check, no, persuasion check to try to convince them that, "Hey, look, I'm not trying to steal your stuff." Immediately got into a fight. And like it was a pretty tough fight against like what are just, 4 random people next to a tomb. Just, not thieves, but just 4 people. And it was a neck and neck fight until I used some fun moves to what this is a game where combos between spells is really useful. So you'll find a character named Gale who can create a grease spell, which is basically he just puts a whole bunch of grease on the ground. Any of your sorcerer characters can throw fireballs.
And you just light the grease on fire.
Oh, it's so satisfying to just suddenly see to see two characters, two enemies that are like together. Each of them have like half health, right? They're pretty solid.
Mhm.
And then to see this explosion and all of a sudden they're gone. And you're like, "Oh, yeah, fuck you." But yeah, it's combat is difficult, but I think it gives you enough things to play with, whether that be at this point in the game, pretty early on, I've already got like 6 other companions, and so each of them have their own specialization. So when I get into a tough fight, it's not just a matter of do I have to change my strategy? It's also, well, maybe I should bring in some different characters. For one fight, I knew I was going to be fighting against this strong guy with a great sword. So I
Mhm.
switched out 2 of my party members to 2 like my 2 big damage dealers, my 2 tanks. And I had some sorcerers go around the back of the house and open the door. And basically sneak in the back while my 2 main characters went in the front and confronted the greatsword guy. Obviously, a fight started, but the thing is, when a fight starts with one character, you enter that turn-based mode. If you then switch to your other characters who are not in the fight, they can move around the world just fine, right? Time is frozen for your other people, but not for the people not in combat. So that
Mhm.
gives them time to circle around, sneak up on someone, and like actually get the drop on them by shooting them in the back. And what's also kind of funny is you can, whenever you switch to a character and you initiate a conversation with an NPC, that character is talking to the NPC. And so you can get into situations where one character has a bad relationship with an NPC, and another character doesn't. And depending on
Mhm.
who you initiate the conversation with, that affects how the conversation goes. But also, if I'm in a conversation and I switch to another character, I can run around still. And if you set yourself up in the background, when you switch back to the conversation, you can see the other people running around the background. It, it's set up in a way that I know you can play it co-op, right? That was the big issue with Xbox, is you can play
Right.
local co-op. And I can see the remnants of that in the single player game because I know if I initiate a conversation with an NPC and you're my co-op player, you can still run around while I'm talking with people. Oh yeah, and
Nice. Okay.
I just got a guy who has talk with animals, and now I want to go around and talk with every animal. So this is all. What's also neat is this is the kind of game where if you find a little clue about something, if you follow that breadcrumb trail, you'll probably find something interesting.
Mhm.
And so I found one set of letters that was like, "Oh, there's something going on to the east." Every one of my missions is taking me west, not east. So I'm very curious what's going on over there. Um, I found an ox. I couldn't talk to him yet, but there was an ox that I succeeded a check at, and I the narrator said like the ox is not what they appear to be. And now I want to go back with the guy that can talk to animals because I want to know what the fuck's going on with that
What's with the
ox.
ox?
Right. And there's a lot of things like that where you kind of stumble across something and then it helps to have I think they did a good job of between all of the characters giving you a nice kind of uh breadth of all the classes. I'm playing a sorcerer. In the beginning, you get a lot of magic dealers, a lot of magic people, but at this point, I've also gotten 3. When it all is said and done, I think you get like 3 magic people and 3 sword people. So it
Mhm.
it evens out, but the beginning felt very magic focused. Um,
Which is fine.
yeah, which is fine. It's just it changes kind of how you approach combat,
Mhm.
right? Don't send your magic user right up in an enemy's face.
Right. Nick, show me your shirt. Hershey Health says it's a good shirt for October. What's going on here?
Uh,
Ah,
Deadpool.
yay!
Dead.
Little Deadpool
Oh my god, I
cat.
can't. Everything's backwards. He's
Yep.
playing with a grenade.
Aw. Nice. Um,
Yeah. So basically, everything about the game is really cool. I think the controls work really well. My only criticism, and it's not really criticism, it's just that a warning, right? I don't want to try to oversell it because I'm really enjoying the hell out of it. But I also like want to take a step back and like not be too effusive with my praise and like
yeah.
there's a learning curve to it, right? Because there's such a density of spells, a density of options of how you can do things, and then a density of options in the controls of like, well, how do I do this thing? How do I do that thing?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It it is a game like Starfield where you can pick up almost anything.
Right.
Uh, but unlike Starfield, they seem to be pretty generous with your encumbrance. But not only that, all of your characters have a pretty high encumbrance as well. And
Mm-hmm.
then at any moment, you can go back to your camp and drop things off into any number of boxes at your camp. So, like,
Nice. Because that's
you,
one thing I freaking hate about Starfield. Oh, the encumbrance system is so annoying.
yeah, you have it here. And I've run into it a couple times just because I'm usually playing as my player character and they pick up all the stuff. So they get
Mm-hmm.
encumbered. But when they do, I think, well, I'm just going to all the extra armor and weapons that I picked up off dead bodies, I'm just going to toss all those onto my strength character, onto my barbarian because they can carry a lot. And
Right.
all of a sudden, I like half my encumbrance is opened up.
Nice.
Mhm.
Cat pool.
Yeah, yep, T-Turtle, that's the one.
That's our AC Wraith. You can find a link for anything. Wait, here it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Only 6.
Yeah. I don't know how you could sneeze that much, but my father was a multi-sneezer like that.
I don't know how you can't. It's annoying at times. Like all of a sudden, my world pauses and I have to sneeze
Yeah.
6 to 10 times.
Chunder says, "Good for us hoarders then."
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Um, and yeah, what's funny is I kind of know about some of the characters. Like I kind of know some of their dirty little secrets already from watching other people play. Um, And so it's interesting playing this early game when I'm not supposed to know that
Mhm.
because one of the characters, so I won't say who, but like we came across this body and we're like, oh, wait a minute. There's something different about this body. It's like, oh, I'm not supposed to know this about you yet. But it's fun because now that when I know their secret, all these kind of little things that happen,
Mhm.
I can see, oh, I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. We did a long rest, and there was a little cutscene of the character sneaking through the camp. And then we just woke up again, nothing happened. And it's like, what the fuck was that? If you explore the world, you'll find what that meant. And then later on, you'll realize, oh, that's what they were doing. So the game does a good job of foreshadowing like all the characters relationships and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I Yeah, everyone's got a secret. I want to learn more about them because they're all really interesting characters, right? They're all, if anything, they're all like somewhat good people but tortured by a dark secret, right? Tortured by something that's gonna kill them eventually. And it's like, okay, what thing is going to get you? Oh, your heart is actually literally fire. And if we don't get it under control, it's going to turn you to ash. Okay, that's a story. You have a mysterious artifact and you need to get to Baldur's Gate. What is that artifact that you are vehemently unwilling to talk about? Curious. And it's like, oh,
Nice.
you need to consume magical items or like you'll die. You need to consume the enchantment of a magical item or you'll die. It's like, okay, this is interesting. Yeah, another guy has an eye, and because of my sorcerer, his eye's missing, and he replaced it with like a stone. And because
Mhm.
I got a succeeded on a check, I was like, that looks like a sending stone. Like, are you using your eye to talk with someone? It's like, no, of course not. But again, it's little threads like that where it's the kind of game like Dragon Age. Every time you go back to camp and everyone's story progresses forward a little more, you want to hear all of their stories. You want to know about them. There's a whole approval disapproval system, right?
Mhm.
Lae'zel, the warrior alien, is very much in the I'm gonna beat the information out of you, whereas Shadowheart, who's kind of the cleric, very much disagrees with that. So whenever
Mhm.
you do something, you'll get Lae'zel disapproves, Shadowheart approves, Gale approves.
Yeah, a bit like what you get with Starfield, in that somebody likes what you've done or somebody hates what you've done, but it's all of your
Yes.
companions.
And what's cool
Because
too
you have
about
multiple ones as opposed to,
yeah, and what's cool about
Starfield, you only have
the
one.
game that I don't remember Dragon Age doing, um, is that a character will respond to your actions even if they're not in your party. So
Oh.
I did something in the world uh, that all the nice people approved of, but I didn't have Gale, the wizard, in my party at the time. But I still got a notice that said Gale approves. And then later on, when I did a long rest, he commented on that. He said, "Oh, I saw what you did," or like, "I know what you did, and I like that, and therefore I'm going to open up more."
Right.
So, yeah, if a character's not in your party, they still get the experience that the other characters do. They still, so you're not, if someone's not in your direct party, it's not like they're losing out on any of the
Right.
points you get from
That
adventuring
was
together.
something that you did have a problem. I don't say a problem. That wasn't something that you had in Dragon Age. If they weren't in your party, you weren't developing relationship with them.
Okay, yeah. And so
So
yeah,
if
it's
you wanted to
nice
develop
that
a
you are.
relationship with somebody more, then you would put them in your party. And then, of course, if you wanted the awesome dialogue, you would definitely put certain members of the party together and they would be hilarious together.
Hmm. Yeah, like of Alistair and
The dwarf.
Morrigan. No,
Yeah,
Alistair
Alistair.
and Morrigan,
Mo- Yep.
Shadowheart and Lae'zel are the new Alistair and Morrigan.
Oh, okay.
Two characters that are like complete opposites. Just
Right.
flat out, I don't trust you. I don't think we should trust her. We should not be traveling together. Why is she here?
Now, as you play, will they develop a relationship? Like their own relationship evolves between each other? Because Alistair hated Morgan, Morgan hated Alistair, but as they like went on with the game, they actually developed quite a close like frenemy relationship where they kind of liked each other.
Hmm.
Because Alistair would keep poking at Morgan, and Morgan would keep getting upset because Alistair was poking her.
Yes. Um, I assume so.
Oh, I hope so.
I don't know for sure because again, I'm not that far into it. I
Yeah,
think I've played for like 20 hours, and like it feels like I've barely scratched the surface.
right.
But so yeah, there was one moment talking with Lae'zel, who again is like the cold, brutal, like I'm gonna beat the information out of you character, right? The one who doesn't care about anyone's feelings. there was a great moment where she's saying something, and instead of saying tiefling, she says teethling.
Mm-hmm.
And you can call that out. You can be like, wait a minute, did you just mispronounce this word? And it's a great turn where all of a sudden this character who's like, we're gonna do this, is suddenly reduced to fuck you. Like, your words are hard to say. That moment of humanizing a character.
Right. Right.
And it works really, really well.
Nice.
Yeah. I think you will love this game.
I know
Again,
I'm gonna love this game, and that's why I have to stay far, far away from it until I get home, and
Yeah.
probably even after I get home, because I'm gonna have so much work to do and so much cleaning to do and
It's
putting
it's the
stuff
kind of
away.
game I can't wait for you to play it because I want to know what you do differently than me.
Got it.
Yeah, like I said, so there was those I told you that I got into a fight with those guys trying to look into the tomb.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you could talk your way out of that. I assume you can talk your way out of that fight, but I killed all those people. And as I'm looting their body, I find a note on this woman. And the note is like, I know you're going away soon, but I have to tell you that I love you. And I know we've had a troubled relationship, but when you return, I think we can really work something out. It's like, oh, I feel real bad. She ain't coming back.
Oh.
But maybe you could talk your way out of that situation and not have to murder her.
Right. Okay. 'Cause I'd probably play I would know I will play a very different character than you because I like to play the good person, and I also usually like to spec very high in charisma so that I can
Oh,
talk people out of fighting me.
the way the stats work, I have a very high charisma because I'm a sorcerer,
Mhm.
and according to D&D rules, charisma affects your spell power in
Right.
sorcery.
Right.
With like wizards, it's wisdom, and then with uh, there's a wizard, there's a sorcerer, and there's a
Right.
warlock.
Right. Wisdom
And
usually affects your
I don't
the
know
amount
what the
of
difference is.
mana that you have, and charisma is, at least for sorcerers, has to do with how powerful your spells will be when you cast them.
Mm. And the game does a good job of explaining the different classes in the beginning. I know, like, one has innate magical powers. I think one gets it from like books, from research and
Hmm.
education, and another is basically like, hey, I made a deal with a devil or some divine force to get powers. So it's like
Hmm.
three magic uses, but three different types of magic.
Right.
And again, that's why I ended up spending like 2 hours in the character creator, because I thought, well, I wanted to get these. I want these spells. I don't want to play a fighter. Normally in these type of games, I play a melee character, but I wanted to do magic. So it's like, well, what type of magic do I want? What type of spells does each person have? How do the spells affect, uh, like, what class of spells does a sorcerer get that a warlock does or doesn't get? Yeah, it's a like I said, it's dense, it's a lot, but the deeper I get into it, the more I really, really love it.
Hmm.
And I loved it from the beginning too. Like right from the start. It
Yeah.
felt
So what you're talking about is wizards, sorcerers, and
warlock.
warlocks. Right. Warlocks. That the sorcerers are born with the yes, sorcerers are born with magic. Wizards learn magic through learning, and source and warlocks are usually some kind of ritual or something like that that gave them their powers.
Okay. Yeah, I think the people in the party I have a barbarian, a fighter,
Mhm.
a warlock, a wizard, and then oh, what is Shadowheart? I don't actually know what Shadowheart is.
Ranger?
No, she's got a bunch of healing. So maybe like a cleric or something.
Yeah, probably. A cleric or a paladin.
Is a cleric.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the companions in the game, barbarian, fighter, warlock, wizard, cleric. Those are
Mhm.
like the 5 main companions you get.
Now, do you
Uh,
use them like you would in a typical RPG where you have somebody that's a tank and then the others are the damage dealers and then you've got the healer on the tank?
you can,
But you don't
except
have to.
that yeah, you don't have to, and maybe you don't need it because the healer doesn't have that many healing spells,
Mhm.
right? And maybe the situation would call for more melee, so you want 2 tanks, and you'll just deal with the health later,
Mhm.
at the fight when the fight's over. Or maybe you want the distance that a lot of the magic people have. The one fight that was giving me trouble last night, I came across a group of gnolls, which are basically like kind of werewolf looking freaky monsters.
Mhm.
Uh, there's a bunch of them eating this body. And there were 2 times that I tried to fight them, and 2 times that they absolutely obliterated me. And so, what I want to do next time, is I want Gale in my party. I want to take out one of the melee people and put in another magic user, because I
Mhm.
think the magic users, even though they're weaker, might be able to do more damage. And specifically because Gale's got the grease spell. I want to be able to set those guys on fire. I tried it before. I had one of my strength characters throw a barrel at them that I thought was an explosive barrel.
Mhm.
Turns out it wasn't. So instead, they just threw a barrel, started a fight, and nothing blew up. And
Mhm.
I thought, that's not what I want. I want an explosion. But yeah, it's the tactics of each fight really, really matter. But since you can quick save so often, it never feels unfair. You know, if I fail a check in dialogue and I get into a fight, it's like, well, whatever. I keep in mind you should save whenever you talk to someone that you think might be important, right? Don't be afraid to quick save a lot because the game will ramp up very quickly. Uh, but because of that, as long as you do quick save a lot, it never feels punishing. And so even if I fail a fight 2 times, I don't feel like the game is being mean about it, right? I think, okay, what did I learn from those experiences and how can I approach this differently? Or, you know what? It's a big wide world out there. Maybe I'm just going to go run in the other direction. I don't need to kill those gnolls. So, yeah, it's
Interesting.
like I said, it scratches that deep, complex RPG that we just haven't gotten in a while.
Mhm.
Yeah, Final Fantasy had like the epic story and the characters, but the mechanics were really simple. Triangle Strategy had a lot of really dense combat, but it didn't have any exploration because it was all just turn-based strategy. Good story, good combat, but not that world, right? This reminds me of playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time and, you know, suddenly realizing, oh, wait, this video game thing can be more than platformers and action games. Like there's a complexity here that I had no idea existed. And yeah, going back to this one, playing Baldur's Gate 3 makes me realize just how streamlined and simplified a lot of modern day games are. And
Hmm.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
It's just that uh I keep saying how dense it is. And sometimes it's fun to have something that is that dense because it gives you such a wide variety of ways to approach a problem.
Mhm. Well, um, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is, I hate to say that beating a dead horse, but I mean,
Preaching to the
everybody
choir.
knows that this game is the shit. So
It is.
I'm now
And you
even
know what?
more so convinced.
But it's interesting to play it and like see that for myself. And to, like I said, I kept playing it and I kept thinking, holy fuck, this is what it was like playing Dragon Age Origins for the first time. Like that realization of, oh, this is a
This
type
feels
of
like a
game.
world. This feels like you are playing in this world as opposed to you're playing a game about a world, which is what
Yeah.
Starfield is. You're playing a game about space. Whereas Dragon Age Origins, you were invested in that world because that world was a living world that just happened to be on your television set.
Yeah. It's that feeling of I want to explore everything. I want to talk with every character.
Those
I
people
want to
are my
pick up
friends. I
everything and
like
sell
this
everything.
person. I hate this
Yeah.
person.
I like this person. It's like, oh, you know what? If I say this, I know Shadowheart will like it. I don't really mean it, but I kind of want her to like me, so I'm gonna say this just to get on her good side.
Right. Right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, where you have actually, feelings about
Yeah,
the game as opposed to thoughts about the game.
and a game that rewards like uh trying to outthink it. I at one point I was trying to break someone out of a prison, and I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna try to get Gale in my party because he's got like minor illusion, and because the prison is at the back of this compound, so I got to
Mhm.
go all the way to the front. It's like I keep running forth trying to scout a path. Like, okay, how can I get this fucker out of here? Well, if I go up there and I time it right, I can sneak past the other people. I'll have Shadowheart cast Pass Without a Trace so that we can all sneak better. Maybe I'll have Gale like put up a minor illusion to make people turn around and all
You're
this.
thinking like a D&D player.
But then I go back and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. It looks like there's like a little platform over there to the left. Can I jump over there? It's like I can jump over there. What's over there? Oh, that's a secret passage.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. Suddenly this got way easier.
Yep.
So yeah, it
So
it it gives you like multiple ways. I could have tried to sneak out through the front, but
Mhm.
I was rewarded for just exploring my surroundings.
Right. Goalie wants to know why we're saying goodbye to me. Because I'm leaving for a month. This is the longest break I will ever
Yeah.
have had on GameHounds since its inception, like, what, 14 years ago? Um, yeah, 14 years ago. Yeah, I'm going to Bali for a month. So I'm hoping to send back kind of video postcards, but I'm not going to be able to do the show because right now in Bali it is probably 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm not going to be waking up every Sunday at 3 o'clock in the morning in Bali to do a show. So the month of October, Nick is going to be playing horror games. Just the same time we would normally have our show, and they are listener chosen. So Nick has a list of games that are up for vote. If you would like to vote, go to our Discord. Here is our Discord information. Go to our Discord, join it, and you can vote on what games Nick plays in the month of October. Some of
Yeah.
them. What
And
have you got like chosen so far?
so it looks like, and this actually worked out well. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 1, which is a PSVR game, is
Hmm.
leading the way. So that's what I will start with. And maybe
Okay.
I'll do that for like 2 weeks. It depends. Um, tied for second are the Callisto Protocol and an indie horror game called Saturnalia. What works out really well is that the Callisto Protocol is the free PlayStation game for that month, for actually this month, October. So, hey, that's cool. I don't have to buy that game to play it on stream. And I'm pretty sure
AC Race says at 6 a.m.
Saturnalia.
Yeah, 6:30 a.m. Yeah, I mean, I could wake up at 5 a.m. on a Sunday, but fuck that. No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, 6:30 a.m. in Bali. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm not waking up in the wee hours of the morning on a Sunday morning to do a 3-hour show about news that I not going to be watching.
Yeah, you're gonna do a 3-hour show about news when you
I'm
don't
not
know
going to be
any of the
looking at the
news.
news. I'm not going to be playing any games. I am going to be scuba diving and running around Bali and drinking and eating and having adventures. Um Chunder says, I do that to listen. I know. I know. But A, you can choose to not listen. And B, I have an hour's worth of prep. Also, I have a bunch of equipment and I'm not hauling the equipment with me. I'm trying to, even though I can have 2 pieces of luggage, I'm trying to keep it down to 1 piece of luggage because I don't think we're going to be staying in one place the whole time, and I don't want to be hauling around 2 pieces of luggage on the back on a scooter. So I'm going to be essentially backpacking. I bought a second piece of luggage that I'm just going to fill up with stuff to take over there to give to IU, the people that we're visiting when we get to Denpasar or Denpasar, I guess it's called. When we get to Denpasar, I'm going to give her clothing and chocolate and a bunch of other stuff. When I return, I am probably going to fill it up with a bunch of stuff from over there, gifts and things. Then I'm just going to leave my luggage with IU while we're there. But when we're traveling, I'm just going to have a backpack essentially. If the audio was available, listeners could consume episodes on their own schedule. Just saying. Yeah, but it's not the same when I'd miss Chunder. It's not the same when Chunder's just out there, as opposed to Chunder waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to listen to me talk about my pus-covered eye.
Jesus.
I love you, Chunder. I really do.
It's not worth getting up at 5 a.m., let me tell you.
Yeah. So
Listening
yeah,
to the rest of the podcast is worth getting up at 5
yes,
a.m.
yes. Speaking of the rest of the podcast, I mean, the only things that I have been playing this week are, of course, Starfield. And the more I play it, the more I realize how uninvested I am in that game.
I did drop by your stream like 2 nights ago,
Yeah.
briefly, and watched it for a bit, and you were just like, God, this game's fucking boring. Why doesn't no one talks about how boring this game is?
This game is really boring. And although, I've heard it gets better the more you play it. So, and I would absolutely be playing Baldur's Gate right now, all things being equal. Except for the fact that I'm leaving and I know I don't want to play Baldur's
Mhm.
Gate before I leave. Because that would just be upsetting.
Eh,
And the other thing
I
I've been
Oh yeah, I will say, I remember in the chat I saw Chaos talking about New Game Plus. And I remember hearing so much about, oh, but New Game Plus is really cool. Oh, New Game, should you uh binge through the game to get to New Game Plus? So eventually I had to look up, what does New Game Plus do? Not worth binging. Like, take your time with it. If you don't want to do the story, don't do the story. Seeing New Game Plus is not worth like skipping over the rest of the content of the game.
No, I'm not trying to do that at all.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, I've seen some people say that you should do it. On the MinMax podcast, every time they talk about Starfield, 2 of the hosts are like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to see what New Game Plus is. I've heard it's really cool." And every time I shake my head and think, "Oh man, you're gonna be so disappointed."
Yeah.
It it's a cool idea. The problem is that the idea is done with by the time you encounter Constellation, and then the rest of the game is the same.
Right.
And it's like, oh, it's really just like that kind of opening part that's different.
Right. You are not the back of the closet, Blood Reaper. Not at all. And in no way, shape, or form. You
You're the
are
front of the closet.
yeah. You are absolutely the front of the closet. I see you. I see you more than I see my neighbors. The only people that I see more frequently than you is sometimes I see you more than my bosses. When my bosses are out of town, I see you more. So actually, yeah, probably I see you more than any other person in my life, which is sad but true. Um
That's just how
uh
the modern internet is.
yeah. Yeah. Um But, the other AC Ray says, "I think it's more of a question of whether you should bother with the late game crafting or just go
Mm.
to New Game Plus." Yeah. Um, yeah, I decided I'm just not gonna bother with crafting. I'm just even though I've got all those all those resources, oh my god, I have so many resources, but I'm just not gonna
I saw something today, and it kind of made me angry, even though I'm not playing the game. Todd Howard said something like, uh, Todd Howard says to people complaining about encumbrance, you don't need to pick up those pencils and pencil holders. And I was like, motherfucker, they're not getting encumbered because they're picking up pencils and
N
pencil holders. They're
no,
getting
we're
encumbered because they're picking up important stuff that weighs too
yeah,
much.
yeah, exactly.
I was like, no, I'm not picking up 300 sandwiches. I'm picking up 10 ship parts, and that's why I'm over
Right,
encumbered.
right. Um the other game that I have been playing is my least favorite game of all time, probably worst game I've ever played. It's called Suitcase Tetris.
I like Suitcase Tetris.
I hate Tetris. The
Suitcase
nice thing about
Tetris.
Suitcase Tetris is it's usually an indication that you're bringing too much stuff. But inevitably, you're missing a piece. That's the thing. It's more like a puzzle in that inevitably you're missing a piece and you will only realize it as you're stepping out the door, which is why I packed today
Mm-hmm.
because I'm already thinking like, oh, flashlight.
Mm.
But at the same time, I'm trying to play Suitcase Tetris and then I go, okay, all packed, everything fits. Fuck, shampoo. Or fuck my makeup kit. And I can't pack my makeup kit because I'm gonna go to work. So, just dumb stuff like
Mm.
that.
Are
Like,
you
oh,
are
my
you
shoes. Oh, I forgot to where am I gonna put my shoes?
are you checking a bag? You must be. You're not just doing carry-on, are you?
Oh no, no, no.
Okay.
The airline only allows one carry-on and it can be no more than 15 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so no. I am, and they absolutely weigh that shit. I am, and they allow for 2 bags up to 70 pounds to be checked,
Okay.
which is domestically, it's usually 50 pounds in one bag. This is 2 pounds, 2 bags, 70 pounds. I am checking my backpack, and I decided today, playing Suitcase Tetris, that the detachable day pack, which I normally take as my carry-on, my detachable day pack, I'm actually not gonna take.
Hmm.
I'm gonna attach it and leave it on the backpack and check the backpack. And I'm gonna take this little like flimsy beach bag and just dump all the extra stuff into it
Okay.
because it just essentially turns my bag into my 2 bags into 1 bag. My
Mm-hmm.
bag and my carry-on, it is now 1 checked. And
Yeah.
now I've got a separate carry-on that I can get under 15 pounds. But I also have to have a change of clothes in there,
In the carry-on?
in the carry-on,
Why?
because I'm gonna be spending the night in Singapore.
Oh. And yeah, you can't access the checked bags at a layover.
Nope,
Okay.
and I really after 16 hours to Singapore, I really don't wanna put my same clothes back on. My same underwear and everything else. Yeah, no.
Yeah. That would be a little tough.
Yep, so I'm having to take a change of clothes
Okay.
with me.
That makes it a little harder.
Mhm. And everything that I wear to the airport has to, if I put it in my bag, be under 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So I can
That means
take
you
light clothes with me, which is great. But if I'm wearing heavy clothes and I put it in my check bag or my carry-on bag,
Mm.
then I got a problem.
I mean, on the plus side, you are going to the tropics, so it's not like
Oh yeah.
you be packing sweaters and jackets.
No. The coldest part is going to be going to the airport in the morning of in San Francisco.
Yeah,
That's going to be really the hardest part, and also the flight, because if I pack too light for my flight, then I'm going to freeze all the way over
true.
to
I mean, they give you
Bali or to Singapore.
they give you a complimentary blanket, don't they?
Yeah, but have you seen the size of those things? They're A, not very big, and B, they're not very warm. You're gonna want to have something to cover
You
up
just
with.
tell them like, "Hey, can you give me another blanket? Give me like 3."
Yeah, no,
And just
they're
wrap.
usually pretty stingy about that shit.
Mm.
So I'm gonna have to bring some kind of jacket. So yeah, it's essentially this is the
Okay,
suitcase
I can see
Tetris that I
this.
have to play in my own head.
The thing is, this is not just suitcase Tetris. This is like 3D suitcase Tetris because it's suitcase Tetris with like 2 check bags and 1 carry-on, with
Uh-huh.
you trying to maneuver things between each of them.
Right. And then the checked bag, the second checked bag can't have anything in it that I will use on the island.
No, you know what this is like? This is like those that one fucking puzzle, and you'll know it the moment I say it. That one puzzle type that is always in any game where you've got like, here's a thing of 5 sections. Here's a thing of 3 sections. You have something that carries 4 sections. Make it equal.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it. I know that there's like a solution. There's an
Right.
easy way to do this, and
Right.
I never remember what it is.
Yep.
And it's always just like 5, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2. It's like, what am I doing wrong? That's what this
Oh my
sounds
God.
like.
Mrs. Chunderbox says she hears my pain. I know. And it's harder for women because we have that one thing that is like the juggernaut that men don't have.
The makeup box?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which inevitably it's like you don't want to, like, you put it in your bag. You have to put it in your bag because there's going to be some kind of liquid in there that's going to have a
Oh,
problem to
yeah.
go through TSA. And when you're going internationally, you kind of want to make sure that anything that could harsh your mellow at customs, wherever you're going, is in your carry-on or is in your checked bag. And so you got to have that one extra space for that one thing that's got a bottle of something that's 6 ounces large. Yeah. And Ace Gully, you're terrible. So yeah. I'm Die Hard 3 water jug proximity bomb diffusing scene. Okay, I have to look this up. What are we talking about?
God, yes. They had to do that exact stupid puzzle in Die Hard 3.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so those are the 2 games I've been playing, and both of them are not my favorite.
Well, at least you have more things to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, true. I'm going to be sending back photos, like you said. In fact, if I have a good enough stream, I may try to stream with the GoPro.
Okay.
Take you for a tour of wherever I am.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, so with that, can we hit some news, please? So I can get back to packing?
So you can get back to the suitcase Tetris?
Yeah. And I don't like to play it, but I gotta play it. I gotta beat this game.
You know what? You know what?
To beat this game tonight.
No, you know what sucks about suitcase Tetris?
Mm-hmm.
Is that in the end, it's just more fucking encumbrance.
It's encumbrance. Fucking encumbrance, man.
God.
But I'll tell you this. I
Can't
have
get
more
away from it.
encumbrance than my character can take. That's for sure. That's for shit and sure. All right. So shall we talk about the news, sir?
Sure.
All right. Let's hit the news. Our first item is, what should we talk about? Because there's so much to talk about this week.
It is a lot. I guess let's start with Epic.
Okay.
Epic is laying off 16% of its company.
That is insane. Did they have an actual numbers about that?
About 900 jobs.
Whoa! I didn't realize it was that many.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And what's crazy about this is that Epic is not a publicly traded company.
No.
So this is not one of those things where, oh, we need to make the stock look better, so we're going to lay off everyone. This is basically Tim Sweeney had a blog where he basically said, we are spending too much money. And he didn't specify exactly what they're spending it on, but it could be a number of things. So basically, laying off all these people is a way to save money, but they are also divesting themselves from a couple of the companies that they bought.
Mhm.
They're divesting themselves from Bandcamp, which is, an online kind of
Yeah, they sold
indie
it.
music purchasing website.
Mhm.
And they are divesting
Which I didn't
from.
even know that they owned Bandcamp, which is
Neither
weird.
did I.
Yeah.
But yeah, divesting from Bandcamp and divesting from a marketing firm that they own called Super Awesome.
Mhm.
And basically, both companies are being they're not being sold to anyone. They're just being spun off into their own standalone companies again.
Right. Well, I mean, Bandcamp was sold to a company down in Los
Oh,
Angeles.
is joining Song Trader,
Song
a
Trader.
music marketplace company supporting artists.
Right. So
Okay.
it's a good match there.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this is just wondering what's going on at Epic, because like I said, usually when you get these mass layoffs, it's a means of kind of appeasing stockholders,
Mhm.
right? Because maybe the company didn't do too well, and so you're kind of looking for a quick way to save money. Just
Right.
a quick and easy thing to make the balance sheets the balanced. But Epic doesn't have to do that. And so the question is well, how is Epic doing? Does this portend for some sort of reckoning for Epic? Is the Fortnite money drying up?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what it means, but it sucks for all the people that lost their jobs.
Oh god, yes. Especially right now with so many other companies cutting back, embracer groups, companies shutting down. It's hard to be working for a developer right now because
Yeah.
chances are if you've lost your job, you're going to be time to look at other employment for a while until
Yeah.
things get back on their feet. But
So Epic says that there will
what a
be
terrible way to end your year too. Exactly. Just all kinds of
yeah.
bad.
Epic says that there will be a company meeting later in October to talk about more of the details of this.
Mhm. Chenderbox says, "Oh no, I wonder if they're going to stop or cut back on the games that they give away every week." Yeah, good point.
I mean, that maybe we saw the Game Pass numbers the other week, right, from the leaked Microsoft document. I can't imagine that those numbers are significantly different for Amazon giving away their free stuff on Twitch, Epic giving away their free stuff. The numbers have got to be somewhat similar.
Right.
Maybe a little less because
They're not as used. You have fewer people that are actually using those services.
yeah, and also it's free for the PS Plus games. They're free for a month and then they're gone.
Right.
Whereas Game Pass is hey, this is available to everyone, kind of indefinitely until we decide something else.
Right.
But still, I imagine that's got to be a lot of money. I wonder, and maybe someone else knows this. I wonder what the share of the marketplace Epic has compared to Valve. Has Epic gotten a good foothold in the online marketplace? In the
I think
what's the specific word for it? Launcher, like the PC game launcher marketplace?
yeah, I mean, they're probably doing okay. I mean, are they doing Valve numbers? No, they're not doing
Yeah,
Steam
like
numbers at all.
I guess
But
I wonder
I
if they
think that
have
they're
more
probably
share than little games.
number 3 after Game Pass.
Oh yeah, Game Pass. I didn't think about that because that's PC.
Yeah. So they're number 3.
I think Good Old Games is doing pretty well. At least
That's
I haven't
sure.
heard anything about them, so I
They're
was
probably the biggest of
just chugging along.
um, the developer
The
platforms.
developer-owned ones, yeah.
Developer-owned ones, because it's I mean, the developer-owned ones, they really only do their own games, right? Like, Epic
Yeah,
really
and even
focuses
then,
on their own stuff.
EA gave up on Origins, and I think they're putting their games on Steam.
Right.
Ubisoft gave up on Uplay, they're putting their games on Steam. Hell, even Activision is putting their games on Steam now.
Right.
Sony's putting their games on Steam. Everyone is like, we don't care.
Yeah, that's right. It's over. We can't beat them. We cannot beat Steam.
It's too much
And they're
work.
kind of right. But Epic, at least, I think the Epic Game Store still has enough, oomph
Yeah.
there to be able to push it through. Because they also have Paradox, right?
Does
Why
Epic
do I
own
wanna think that
Paradox?
I bought Paradox on the Epic Game Store? Why do I think that? Not like Crusader Kings and
Yeah.
like E3 and all those things.
No, you must have had it on. I don't know. I
Why do
know
I
I have Crusader Kings on Steam.
No, I didn't. Yeah, yeah, but I didn't buy it from Steam. I have it on Steam, but I didn't buy it from Steam.
Oh no, wait. I played Crusader Kings 3 on Game Pass.
Oh, that's right, yeah. And it's interesting that you mention that things are hard all over for gamers, and also, well, I got 2 ones. Things all being hard all over for coders and developers and people that work for developers, and also, the numbers for Prime. 7 free games coming in October from Prime Gaming. In case you're interested, here's your lineup for October. It starts on, where is it? Okay. October's free games. Prime lineup is October 5th with Grund. That's a Halloween themed thing. Navigate the ominous environments while unraveling puzzles and confronting horrible creatures. Then a week later, October 12th, Monster Prom 2 Monster Camp, which I totally freaking want.
Oh,
That's kind of like the dating game, the dating
Monster.
simulator.
I saw Monster Prom at a PAX and on various streams. Monster Prom is cool.
Yeah, Monster Prom is cool. So that's October 12th. And also on that same day, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Okay.
And the Coma 2 Vicious Sisters will also
Wait, what
drop
was
that
it?
day. The Coma 2 Vicious Sisters.
Oh, the Coma. Okay.
The Coma 2 Vicious Sisters Deluxe Edition. Then Golden Light is gonna next week. The week after that is October 19th. Golden Light is coming. And then the week after that, October 26th, is Super Adventure Hand, which is a 3D platformer. They're all kind of spooky, horror and Halloween themed.
Hey, that's appropriate. I was gonna say, if there wasn't any scary game in that mix, then
There's all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them have something to do with monsters or Halloween or spookiness or scariness. So yeah. Case in point, there's and they're not small games. Like, some of them are indie games, but some of them are not. And Monster Prom 2, when it didn't come out, I mean, I remember trying Monster Prom 1 years ago at PAX.
Yeah, it must be somewhat new.
So I think that the Monster Prom 2 is relatively new.
Also, though, to be fair, Amazon has more money than God. True. Amazon is not like, oh, look at all this money we're spending on games.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Yeah. Amazon doesn't care.
And then doubling up with tough time to be a developer. Sony this week did something that I don't think any publisher has ever done. And it's for a company that very much cares about what people think of them and their appearance to the outside world, it is kind of strange that they did this.
What did
But
they? Did I hear about this?
they have gone
Oh,
back and
yeah.
not only deleted Knights of the upcoming, they're working on Knights of the Old Republic, new updated Knights of the Republic game,
Yeah, a remake.
a remake, right? And it was announced in 2021. They have been working on it since 2018-ish, 2018, 2019. And then it's had a lot of issues. It was originally being done by Aspire and LucasArts, which is who did the original Knights of the Old Republic. Then it got pulled from them and it went to Saber Interactive. They took over
Yeah.
for Aspire. And
And
then, of course, Saber Interactive is part of what company? Embracer Group.
Embracer. Yep.
So yeah, so that we're not sure of what's going on, but Sony has removed not only the original PlayStation Showcase video from 2021, but they've also they've delisted the YouTube video, like I said, and then somebody that was announced on a Reddit group, the Reddit group Gaming Leaks and Rumors. Somebody's like, "Hey, Sony got rid of the video." Then somebody else went to go check on it and said, "Hey, guess what else they also did? They've removed every mention of this game from Twitter." I should say their tweets. All of their tweets that they've made about the game on Twitter, they have removed. They've deleted.
Yeah, AC
This
Wraith
does not look good.
AC Wraith links to something that says that Sony claims it delisted all the stuff due to music licenses expiring.
The
Which
tweets?
I
The
mean,
tweets?
the tweet would have the video in it, right?
Maybe.
The video embedded.
Maybe.
Which is already kind of a bit of a wonky excuse, but if anything, this reflects poorly on. I think this reflects more poorly on Embracer than it does Sony, right? This is Sony realizing, hey, this game ain't coming out for another 3 to 4 years.
Right.
Let's just kind of quietly take it down.
Right.
Like, this game and the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake both seem to be remakes that are just stuck in some sort of ugly development hell, and I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, AC Wraith says that Monster Prom 3 came out last year, so
Yeah, and
Monster Prom
2
2
was in
came out in
2020.
2020.
So it's sure okay.
We're falling behind on the Monster Proms.
We really got to play a Monster Prom one of these days. I should stream that when I come home.
Yeah. Oh, is that available on PlayStation?
It doesn't matter if it's available on PlayStation. I'll play it on PC.
I know, but
I'll download it.
I like playing on console. You know this about me.
I know. All right. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. But besides that, even without the removal of the video, even without the removal of the tweets, we would still know that Knights of the Old Republic remake is still got problems simply because of its being involved with the whole Embracer thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
the Embracer thing.
I'm sure it's still for at least 2 to 3 years.
Like being part of Embracer and also like changing developers. Yeah. That's never a good sign.
Yeah. I don't know why. They never really said why they changed developers.
I'm sure it was just a matter of...
Yeah, and 2 of the game's directors also got fired in the process as well in the history of this game. So there's just shit going down everywhere.
Development hell.
Yeah, and I'm not understanding what it takes to make a remake, but isn't kind of like all the hard decisions kind of already done This is a remake. They've already know like they don't have to make any mechanics decisions.
You know,
They don't have to make any story decisions.
I think they do, because from what I remember, KOTOR was like a game that kind of controlled weird. You would queue up moves for your character to do, and so you'd
Oh
be like,
yeah, that's right,
go
huh?
attack, and they would go and attack automatically, and then you would queue up, do like these two moves, and then you just kind of sit and watch your character fight a bit. It was kind of a MMO-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I could totally imagine someone at Embracer saying, this was fine back when it came out, but people
Right.
nowadays want something a bit more action focused, a bit more direct control. And that would mean a lot of mechanical
True.
changes.
True. If they were actually significantly tearing down the mechanics of the game and then putting it back, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
AC Ray says, I am altering the deal. I don't alter it further. Pray I don't alter it further. So yeah, that's my 2 news of death, destruction, and bad stuff happening, and good stuff happening.
Okay. This is a bit more fun. Bethesda has surprise released a mobile game of the Elder Scrolls.
Mhm.
This is Elder Scrolls Castles, which is basically the Elder Scrolls version of Fallout Shelter. You know, it's a 2D management sim where you're kind of adding rooms to a building to get people, you add bedrooms, but it's a little city builder, but
Mhm.
castle.
Right.
And so in the same way, I think it's less punishing than Fallout Shelter. It's a bit more free form. Like Fallout Shelter kind of limited where you could build rooms. Castles is a bit more free form, allowing you to kind of make, a castle.
Mhm.
But it's just kind of more interesting that they dropped it out of nowhere with no fanfare.
Right.
Because like Fallout Shelter was one of their like, hey, we announced this at E3, and guess what? You can go download it now.
Right.
I'm surprised that they didn't do something like that for this game.
Yeah, but they don't have an E3. I
But they
can't even find any gameplay
but they
of Elder
have
Scrolls Castle.
well, okay, here's the thing. It's also not out on iOS. I think it's out on it came out on Android. Has like
What?
kind of it came out on Android, has kind of like a an early access,
All right.
such that a lot of people
I'm
thought
picking up my my Android game or my Android phone right now.
that someone at Bethesda accidentally released it, because they're like, wait, why is it not available on iOS? Why is this early access? What's going on? Turns out it's just an kind of an early access test for Android.
Oh,
I imagine
okay.
it will come out later, but to release what's essentially a beta on one platform with no fanfare, I absolutely understand why some people would speculate that it was an accident.
Yeah. All right, I'm pulling it up right now on my phone. Forge of Empires, Elder Scrolls Castles. Yeah, there it is right there. Early access. The early access program is currently full. It says can't download it.
Hmm.
I don't know if you can see that.
I mean, I've got some video here. Oh, it looks
Yeah,
like
can you see that? Can you see that? Let's see. Here we go.
I mean, I
Come
can
on.
see it there. I'm saying I also have some video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, and it not only is it a kind of civilization builder, but you also get choices about what to do, similar to Reigns.
Yeah, it looks just like Reigns meets. I mean,
Fallout
it
Shelter.
looks just like Elder Scrolls Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, it's Reigns meets Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how good it is. I don't know if the reception has been positive or negative. But it's just kind of weird that they released it.
There's also something called Elder Scrolls Blades. Does anybody know anything about that?
Yes, I played that. It's a game that tries to replicate the bigger first-person adventure game on mobile. It was okay.
Yeah, and then
I
there's
remember.
also Elder Scrolls Legends.
I don't know Legends. What is that?
Elder Scrolls CCG duel in an online arena in your best action card game.
Oh, okay, that's a card game.
Yeah. Wow, they're just going every which way. So many games that I might want to. Oh, there's a SimCity game on my phone. Oh, I'm going to be mobile gaming, aren't I?
Hey, mobile games are really freaking cool.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a cheap ass phone. This is an LG phone that I got used for $40. They normally like new they get about $100.
Hmm.
But it's actually got a stylus,
Oh,
an
wow.
actual stylus called I think it's called the LG Stylo or stylus. And yeah, you actually can, which is I'm not a big fan of external styluses for exactly this reason because I just jammed it in general. But for gaming, it's actually really nice. Really, really actually much easier to use than your finger, especially with a phone that is very narrow but very long. All right.
Did I mention Moonlighter? Like a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
It's
That's
another good mobile game.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody give me some mobile games that I should probably look into because I'm going to be sitting on the plane for 16
The
hours.
thing is, you have a Netflix account, right? Yeah, of
I
course you do.
do.
You can download Moonlighter through Netflix to get it for free.
Oh, that is actually, thank you for reminding me. That is another
Yeah.
app. I'm downloading all the apps that I want on this phone
Mm,
now because I'm going to be getting a SIM card in Indonesia and sticking it in. So,
yeah.
but
If
I want to
you
have all my apps and all, like everything signed in here because I don't want to have to be hitting my two-factor authentication on my phone because every time I start my phone up, it's going to cost me $10.
Oh, geez, that
Well, no,
sucks.
it's an international thing. It's unlimited international data for $10 a day. But it
Okay.
only will charge you $10 if you use it. So, I will be charged $10 if I use it once in that day. Like if Google Maps automatically pings, does a location ping, once that data is used, then the $10 is charged. So the less that I can use my data, the better. And I would imagine my phone messages would be one of those. So, where am I looking for? What was the name? You said Moonwalker? Oh, no, Netflix.
Moonlighter.
Netflix is the one I want.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So everybody think of like other apps I should probably download now and sign into for my account. Prime Video, yes.
I will say I'm looking at my games. How how do you feel about crossword puzzles?
I haven't played a crossword puzzle in years.
How do you feel about jigsaw puzzles?
They're fine.
How do you feel about a combination of the two?
How do you feel about Dancing with the Devil in bright moonlight?
Yeah.
'Cause
One of the games that I've played on and off for like the past several years is a game called Bonza. And Bonza is a really great jigsaw crossword puzzle combo that it's just it's a simple pick up and play for like 2 minutes here and there, or you could spend an hour just like playing games over and over and over again.
Okay, I'm installing Bonza. Oh, what was it? Marvel Snap?
Oh, dude, you want to get into Snap? I can help you get into Snap. You want me with Snap, buddy?
We
Yeah,
might have to be. That
that's
would be
also
actually a really great way to stay in touch with each other.
that's also a game that like I've played continuously on and off. I still play it. I play a little bit less now, which is good. Like I feel myself coming off of like the snap addicted train, but it still remains a fun game. They
Mhm.
still they still continuously update that game in a way that forces me to like constantly rethink the decks I use, which I think is fun. I had been
Uh-huh.
playing a lot with Galactus, which is a card a lot of people hate, and
Mhm.
so they nerfed it. And now it's like, oh shit, my Galactus deck isn't as good anymore. So I've got to find something else to use. But that's part of the joy is like finding funky things.
And EC Ray says you mentioned Templar Battle Force RPG?
Yeah, Temple of Battle Force was a really good turn-based RPG. It's just like a bunch of turn-based combat. But that was good. Um
Not Raid Shadow Legends. Jesus. Oh, $10.
you know what? I actually downloaded Raid Shadow Legends like a couple weeks ago to try it out. And
Uh-huh.
like it was fine. It was a gotcha game, and I played it for like 30 minutes and then kind of felt like I had seen all there was to see, and I kind of didn't
Mhm.
want to keep going with it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of gacha games. When you want to cool down from the tropical heat, you could play Sled Dog Saga. Tell me about Sled Dog Saga.
Sled Dog Dog is cool. It's like a management sled dog, right? You need to get your sled dogs to cover a certain distance, and you've got like 6 carrots. And so it's like,
Mhm.
oh, how many carrots can I use to maximize my sled dog distance? Oh yeah, Slayway Camp is also great.
What is
That's a
Slayaway Camp?
Slayway Camp is a pure puzzle game.
Okay.
Pure straight up block sliding puzzle game.
I'm not a big fan of block sliding puzzles games.
I totally understand that. It's a good one of those, but like
Mhm.
it's definitely one of those.
Got it. Um, all right. So where do I find on my Netflix where the games are? There we
Yeah,
go. Where it
you
says
just
games. Right there.
what's funny is it's right there, but no one ever notices because I don't know who uses the Netflix mobile app. Everyone uses like Netflix on TVs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who
Love
uses
is
the mobile
Blind Netflix stories and interactive story? Oh, I'm fucking downloading that.
app?
Just tell me where to say. Oh god, no. No, 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 no. These look horrible. What there's like a couple of games that are just like horrible story
the
games that are just embarrassing.
Yeah, like the Love is Blind one, they have a too hot to handle game that
Yep.
looks cheap.
Yep.
But they got Moonlighter. They've got Into the oh, what was it called? Into the Abyss?
Uh-huh.
Into the Breach.
Into the
That's a really
Breach.
good one. Um
Is that on Netflix?
yeah. Oxenfree. They have Oxenfree and Oxenfree
Oh, do
2.
they really?
Yeah, they should have both. So they've
Into the
got a
Breach strategy game. Oh, they have Reigns 3 King Reigns, but I own all the Reigns games, but still, I own
yeah.
Bone, so
The Netflix game offerings range from like, hey, this is a really high quality thing to this looks like the dirt cheap junk
yeah.
that from the lowest bar to the highest bar.
Yeah, it's definitely a minefield. So what was the name of that game again that you suggested? Moonlighter.
Yeah, Moonlighter's cool. What was the other one? Moonlighter, Into the Breach, Oxenfree. You might have to buy these, but if you want a like kind of choose your own visual
Device
novel,
not supported?
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. Yep, that definitely sucks. All right. So any other we'll be going over this later. What other news do you have? Dog
Uh,
Sled Saga. He's like insisting I get dog. Okay, I'm gonna get Dog Sled Saga.
I mean, what's funny is I'm also downloading it. I played
Everybody
it
pull out your
briefly.
phones and let's just all start mass downloading shit.
I played it briefly on Steam. There was a Steam version of it.
Is that on, by the way, is Dog Sled Saga on Netflix or is it on
I think that's just regular. It's not a Netflix one.
Dog Sled Saga? I'm getting this app isn't available for your device because it was made for an older version of Android.
Oh, really? Too new. Yeah, see, right there.
Yep. Well, it's because it's iOS.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I might download it for my iPhone and play it on my iPhone on the plane. I mean, it's fine as long as I use the plane's Wi-Fi. Or
Okay.
even if I don't need Wi-Fi, even better. Let's see. Oh, honestly, I haven't played it myself. I was just correcting your word order. What did I call it? Dog Slaga Sled?
Dog
Sled.
Saga.
Oh, Sled Dog Slaga. Sled Dog Saga. As
Oh,
opposed to Dog Sled
okay.
Saga. So yeah, if anybody else has any recommendations of a great game to just kind of watch while you're trying to let time pass for 16 hours, and especially if it's small stuff that can keep me distracted so that I can like go back to sleep. I downloaded Kindle so I can read Kindle books and stuff. Okay. So next item.
Some other news. Jim Ryan is leaving Sony.
Yeah, that's a huge loss. I mean, Jim Ryan's been around with Sony since forever.
Yeah, he took over as president and CEO of Sony Interactive in 2019. And
Yeah, but he was with Sony before then.
Oh yeah, he started in 1994. So he's he's been with them for 28 years.
Jeez. That's
Which
amazing.
is a while, but you know what? And they were talking about this on the Remap podcast. Right now is about the time when I imagine these companies are kind of ramping up for the next generation. Right? We saw all those leaked emails. Microsoft is clearly planning for the next generation. I'm sure Sony is as well. And right now feels like the time when that begins to ramp up. And so I can see Jim Ryan realizing, if I want to oversee another console launch, I need to be here for the next like 5 years. And if he feels like he's done, then it's like, then this is the time to get out, right? Sony is in a pretty good position. There isn't any major change coming down the pipeline. It's like this is kind of the lowest point in the workflow when he would choose to leave.
Yeah.
And
this is the lull between generations.
Yes, yeah. Because it sounds like everything is like copacetic between them. Like he's not leaving out of anger. He's not being fired. It's just yo, I imagine launching a console is hard work, and he's had enough of it. He's had enough of it doing it twice. No, 2019, that means he would have overseen the PS5, not the PS4. Still, PS5 launch, like, all things considered, did pretty well. It was
really? There's a Baldur's Gate? The original Baldur's Gate is on mobile?
Yes, it is. I don't know if you want to play that because I imagine it's going to be tiny.
Yeah.
Right? Those icons are going to be like 2 pixels wide.
Yeah.
I've actually looked into it because I thought that would be really cool to play. But I just
especially in advance of this game.
Yeah, but I just can't bring myself to like spend, because they're expensive too. They're like $20. And I can't justify spending that much money on what could be a game that's too small for the screen. Like, I remember I bought Final Fantasy Tactics on iOS, and I played it for 10 minutes and realized I don't want to do this. Like, it's too small. This is a pain in the ass. And so I ended up having to re-buy it for my tablet because that's actually big enough that it made the game actually playable. So,
Hmm.
look, some games are too small to play on your phone. Like,
Right.
that's just the fact of the matter. Some games
And
don't
they
work
have
well.
Neverwinter Nights on mobile as well.
They have all those classic games. They've got Planescape Torment. They've got Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Like, they've got everything there. You know what? You should download them. That way you can tell me how good they are.
Yeah, but I'm sure they cost money.
Oh, they cost a lot. They're the premium games.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Box
not
says, see, size does matter. Oh, dude, when it comes to screen size, I'm a size whore. Absolutely. Give me that 80-inch TV.
Yeah, you kind of are. Except when it
Ah.
comes to your phone, you're still rolling a pretty old phone there. And you don't wanna pay up for the expensive one.
Well, that's because I hold it in my hand, right? If I get it any bigger than this, it'll be a tablet, not a phone.
No.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, the answer is
No,
yes.
no,
Yes.
no.
I don't want a mini tablet. I want a phone.
Okay. Anyway,
Anyways, yeah,
so
Jim Ryan leaving.
yeah,
Lost for Sony, but I don't imagine that it's that I don't imagine they're surprised by this, right?
right.
I imagine he's probably talked about this a lot internally.
Speaking of other sad news about for Sony, Sony apparently got hacked
Hmm.
again. Um, although it's some people are saying, yeah, no. So here's the story what's going down. They were hacked by a ransom company. Where is it? Hold on. A ransomware group. And the name of the ransomware group is Ransom VC, who essentially used the whole there's like a particular rule that is has to do with cybersecurity in Europe that has a big fat loophole in it, and that big fat loophole allows ransomware companies to claim it as the reason why they're doing it so that they aren't considered ransomware. But anyway, this company, this is according to a report by a company called Cyber Security Connect, which is actually a website, and they said that this is the hack, the ransom company, ransomware group showed proof that they had hacked them by they had said that they had quote successfully compromised all of Sony's systems, and they posted screenshots of an internal login page, some presentations, and also a file tree of the full leak. Now, in the examination of the file tree of the full leak, they could see that the batch of files that were stolen were about 6,000 files. That's according to Cybersecurity Connect. Other people, including some ordinary gamers who is pretty good at this stuff. He's no small time person as far as being able to figure what's right and what's wrong. He did some deep diving into it, and 6,000 files is on its face not nearly enough to be hacked all of Sony. So and apparently the titles of these files are not really indicative of actually anything that would indicate that it was actually Sony that got hacked, that it wasn't just made up. So they're demanding and actually another thing that kind of tipped some ordinary gamers off is they're asking for something like $15 million or $50 million. But they posted like Sony is an $88 billion company, and then they ask for 15 million, that doesn't even register with them. So if you had hacked all of Sony, you would be asking for a lot more. They also said that they hacked another telecommunications firm that is another multi-billion-dollar company, and they asked for something like 15 million. So it's relatively small amounts that they're asking for, given what they're claiming. That the file amount of files is too small to be what they're claiming. And the proof that they provided really isn't very much proof. So everyone is saying, or at least some ordinary gamers recommends that you change your PlayStation password. Change your PlayStation password. You should be doing that anyway on the regular, just to be safe. But that he's skeptical that this is real. And I don't blame him. It sounds pretty legitimate. 6,000 files for hacking Sony is not a lot. Even if it were user files, even if it was user detailed files, it's still 6,000 is not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you were worried about the Sony hack, at least early accounts are saying probably shouldn't worry too much.
Hey, don't scratch.
Cinderbox calls it a phablet. Not sure if they use that term anymore.
Phablet, yeah.
A phablet.
I've seen them. One of Rachel's friends has them, and it's like this. Look, if you're a woman, you can put it in your purse. That works out well for you. If I'm putting it in my pocket, I don't want something that big.
Yeah. I mean, my Android is actually the same width. This Android is the same width as my iPhone.
Yeah.
But it's way longer.
Yeah. Well, when I got this phone, when I upgraded from like my iPhone 6 to the iPhone X, the screen size stayed the exact same, but all the bezel around the edge got thinner. So the overall, it's a smaller phone, but same screen size.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, the actual phone itself looks much better than my phone.
Yeah.
Dare I say that the screen resolution is actually much better on this phone, an old $120 phone. And something else I actually like better than my face, like the facial recognition on my phone. Wear a manly fanny pack. A manly pack.
A manny
pack. The face recognition on my iPhone is kind of sometimes annoying because I'm nearsighted. So when I have my glasses off, I'm holding the phone very close and it goes, I don't recognize you. So I have to hold the phone back so it recognizes me. If I'm rolling over in the morning with one eye open and I'm looking at it, it's like, we don't recognize you. It's like, I barely recognize myself, dude, but just show me. The biometrics on this phone is a fingerprint reader right there.
Oh, that's a good place for it.
Exactly. It's a really good place for it because I don't have to worry about, like I can pick it up in the middle of the night with one eye open and be like, okay, that's good. And then go back to sleep. It's really a good place.
AC Wraith also said that he's not a mobile gamer, but he just had to remove half of his wish list because his device is no longer supported, and it was a little disheartening.
Oh, hey,
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's sad. Blood Reaper says, and they could be the easiest files to get. True, but if they had an ongoing access, they wouldn't stop at the 6,000 files. And that's what they show, the 6,000 files. So maybe they're going to come back and then show them several million files, but at least for right now, they haven't really put up. So they need to shut up. And if they put up more later, then we'll be more concerned. But Sony does have a history of being hacked. It's been hacked numerous times. So we survived those. We'll survive this. Frill purses turn into fanny packs, wrap around the waist when loop around the purse. Oh, actually, can I show you what my manny pack is?
Okay.
So I'm trading in my purse and my backpack for. I'm gonna have to open this up. I think make this wider, maybe. Let's go to this. No, didn't want to do that. I want to do not that. How do I get it so that it's two people together in one? Well, maybe I'll just do. Yeah, do it this way. So this is what I'm going to be using instead of.
Okay, shoulder bag.
Yeah, and it's a shoulder bag. It's going to go over my head like this, and that's going to be my purse. And that is a shoulder bag because I can also use it when I'm, riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I can still put my my GoPro right here. So yeah, there's your idea for a manny pack that isn't on your fanny. Because honestly, fanny packs are kind of a pain in the ass.
Hey, don't eat tape.
If they still have access. Yeah, I doubt that they
Don't.
still have access. I can guarantee you that that Sony went on the warpath to harden their systems. All right. Let's see. How many do you have? When you've talked about that, talked about that.
I've got a
You
couple.
only have 2 left. I have 1, 2. Yeah, I have 2 left.
Jupiter's
Perfect.
biting the corner of my laptop.
I know. I can see it. It's your screen is bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So do you want me to go while he gets his num-nums on?
Sure. Let's
Okay.
see. Can I say hi?
Hi, Jupe. How you doing, Jupey? Jupey with the goopy eyes? Thanks, Jupe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll start with the not fun story. So the not fun story is that scalpers this week ruined
yeah.
a really cool collaboration between the Van Gogh Museum and the and Pokemon and Nintendo. So the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, they had an exhibit on display that was essentially the art of Pikachu and friends and all of the Pokemon stuff. And it was all of the art was done in the oeuvre of some of famous in the oeuvre of Van Gogh. So it looked like Van Gogh stuff. And the exhibit opened in person and they also had an online component. So the actual exhibit when it opened, they had, of course, the exhibit, and then they had swag in the gift store. And some of the swag included this really cool Pokemon card with actually, if you could pull that up, I'd appreciate it. I forgot to pull up the video. Some little plushies of the Pokemon of Pikachu dressed like Van Gogh in his self-portrait, his very famous self-portrait, a bunch of other stuff. It's really cool stuff. And there's also like a card that was also of the same type that was actually really neat. And when this exhibit opened, people swarmed there we go. People swarmed the gift store and raided it, essentially bought everything. And even on that day out in front of the museum, there were many people that were talking about how they were bragging that they were going to be reselling all of the merchandise that they had purchased online. They were just walking out with buying armloads of it so that the whole museum just sold out almost instantly. Online, they also had a sale of the same merchandise for people who couldn't get to the museum in Amsterdam. And that launched on September 29th. And they did that on the Pokemon Center. And it was like a way for people to buy a little piece of the exhibit for themselves if they couldn't actually get to Amsterdam to see it. And instantly, instantly sold out. Social media posts on Twitter and other places, there were many, many, many people who said that they were there at the opening on September 28th when those pieces launched. And when it went live, there was no way for them to get through. They were too late for the sale before scalpers had just ravaged everything and just bought everything. And within moments of that landing page going live, many, many, many of those products were already not only sold out, but starting to appear instantly on eBay. The trading card bundled with each purchase was selling for around $200 on most listings. Other products such as the Pikachu plush are starting to show up on the site, usually about $300. Sometimes it's bundled with the card for more than that. So yeah, following this whole mess of scalpers essentially shitting on everything, the Pokemon Company has released a statement on its own social channels that they apologized to fans that had happened. They were and everybody who was disappointed by it. They said they plan to provide more ways to receive the Pikachu card. They didn't mention anything about restocking any of the merchandise, but there is a growing sentiment on many of the people that were talking in comments and on social media about this, that Nintendo knows. I mean, Nintendo stuff is scalpable. Their stuff is usually very highly collectible, and they know it. The things that with Pikachu or anything Nintendo that is anything Pokemon specifically, but also just anything Nintendo tends to end up on eBay for really exorbitant prices.
Yeah, like Pokemon cards are still like it's still hard
People
to
still
find some of
walk
them.
in and buy entire display cases full of
Yeah.
Pokemon cards. So and you know that they're
Like
buying them. I mean, if they're doing that, they're buying them to scalp them.
yes.
The
I
thing
don't
is that
understand how
Nintendo knows this.
I don't understand how the museum could do this and not limit one per customer.
Even if they limit one per customer, they have bots that just keep hitting them and hitting them and hitting them
But
and hitting
not
them.
physically. Not if you're at the store. Not if you're at the museum.
Oh, I'm sure at the museum they never anticipated that to happen. But online, they should have known. Certainly, if they were collaborating with Nintendo, Nintendo knew.
Hey,
Nintendo
guys.
knows that this happens for everything, especially everything Pokemon. And the
Yeah.
thing is, they could do something to stop this. They could have, linking the transaction, only allowing transactions for things at a certain size. Like, say you want to buy 3 of something or 4 of something, that's fine, even if you buy one of them, maybe until it gets sorted out. But the you could require them to provide a bank account number. Not that you would deduct from the bank account number, but they could actually do an electronic check to make sure the bank account number matches the name on the credit card, and you can only use that name and that credit card and that bank account number once.
Mm.
Once you do that, scalpers can't buy it. But Nintendo just refuses to do anything about it. Even after disappointment and apology after apology, we're so sorry this happened to you. We're so sorry that people were disappointed. But I mean, I understand why they do it. They love the fact that their stuff is so collectible.
I mean,
But at the same time,
I don't know if
it
any
is really
company wants to
horrible for
stop
the
it.
fans. It's horrible for people that just want something.
Yes, it is.
So it's a shame that this fiasco happened. It's a shame that, and the thing is, here's the other thing. Nintendo does this. They know how to solve it. They don't solve it for themselves. That's one thing. But when you get into a collaboration with a nonprofit museum and you don't tell them that this is going to happen to them so that they can at least put in some kind of controls, without essentially, because nobody's going to hold this, nobody's going to have a sour taste left in their mouth about Pikachu, about Pokemon. You know where they're going to have a sour remembrance of this about?
The museum.
The museum. It's a shitty thing to do at the museum. So, yeah, I mean, it's just it's sad, it's upsetting, it's unfortunate. Yeah, the museum sold out and they made a bunch of money, but people are going to remember the Van Gogh Museum for this. Certainly people that, wouldn't have normally known about the Van Gogh Museum, this might be the first time they hear about it. So it sucks that Nintendo kind of, I feel like they might have walked the museum into this like a lamb into a mint patch. Like they're taking the heat, but doesn't affect Nintendo, doesn't affect Pokemon, doesn't affect how anybody thinks about them any more than it already does. But it does affect the reputation of the museum.
Yeah.
DeviantArt realistic Pokemon tag.
Oh.
PlayStation Portal pre-order sold out in Japan. Why? Doesn't seem a handhold I would be wanting. Yeah. Well, I think it's also probably scalpers thinking that it might be popular, so they're just going to buy them out anyway.
It could be. I was actually just checking online. Apparently, I can't pre-order it on Amazon. It says this item is currently not available, but I can the PlayStation Portable.
Oh, okay.
But I can still pre-order it from Best Buy or GameStop. So I don't know why Amazon is out.
And Blood Reaper says he put something in news in Discord, and hi, Kitty.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a preview of another RPG, sort of Diablo-like.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read it because
you'll have to hold on to that for next week when you're doing this show all by yourself.
Yes,
I've carried the show by myself. Now it's your turn.
I mean, it will be a lot easier, like having a game in front of me rather than just trying to talk for an hour plus.
Yeah, I can do that.
Like the thing is, I could talk for an hour plus, but I feel like I don't know when to end a segment, right?
Right.
At what point have I said enough about something? Because I could summarize the headline in 30 seconds. Do I then move on to something else? How much do I stretch?
Right.
Stretch.
Oh, Blood Reaper also points out it's not just people who might have never heard about the museum. He says that people who spent a bunch of money to go there and get some of that stuff will remember the museum. Imagining, because you're such a huge fan, you want to go see this, you've heard about this sounds so cool. You book a ticket to Amsterdam, you go to the museum, and you can't even buy a single thing because the gift store's been sold out from everybody. From the scalpers. That absolutely. It's going to make them remember the Van Gogh Museum, their huge trip that was ended in disappointment.
Yes.
All right, so your next item.
I guess on the this is interesting more. SAG-AFTRA has voted to authorize a strike on video game companies. That doesn't mean they are striking yet, but SAG-AFTRA put out, the survey to see, hey, should we strike? And overwhelmingly, the members voted for yes, which is not surprising because if they voted to strike against the movie studios, they would absolutely strike against video games.
Right. Yeah, and I guess the writers have tentatively agreed to, so that might be ending.
Yeah, it not tentative anymore. Like it's I think it's still going through the process, but like they got a deal that they liked.
Okay.
And it seems, reading about it, that basically the studios capitulated on almost every point.
Good.
which we knew they would anyways. It was just a matter
Well,
of
we didn't
time.
know that. I mean, not when Drew Barrymore was like, "Yeah, I know you guys are suffering, but we have a show to make."
Yeah, and then she immediately stepped
Bad
back.
look. Bad look. Oh, yeah, she did. Oh, yeah, she did. Oh, that
I
was
mean,
all kinds of bad news. She did not read that room right.
even Bill Maher did. When someone like Bill Maher is like, "I'm gonna bring my show back," and then reverses that decision, that's like the strike has some strength to it.
Mhm. Yep.
But like, look, the studios were either going to capitulate or eat themselves alive and die.
Yeah.
So
Um,
they made a good choice.
yeah. So hopefully SAG-AFTRA can also get it for voice actors as well.
Yeah. And hey, look, maybe if they make the deal soon, Warner
Mhm.
Brothers will undelay Dune and release it in December like they were supposed to,
Yeah.
instead of delaying it like a bunch of little
So let's
ass.
see. According to reports, the key issues have to do with what key issue for almost everybody else, AI.
Yeah.
Lagging
Which
pay
is
that doesn't match with inflation rates and other
yeah.
workplace protections.
And I think
So,
we'd said the other week that like this isn't going to affect a lot of indie games, and the people that they have the deal with, that SAG-AFTRA has these deals with, these are like a lot of the big studios. It's Microsoft,
mhm,
Sony, EA, Take-Two, and then a couple others. And like this is really affecting the next Last of Us game, right? The
right.
next Naughty Dog cinematic adventure.
Mhm,
This They're not making deals with the next indie RPG,
right.
right? Even if that indie RPG uses voices, the people that SAG-AFTRA are negotiating with do not speak for those indie studios. So the indie studios can make whatever deal they want.
Mhm, yeah. Um, okay, and then my last item is, okay. This is the funny one. So Goldman Sachs, you're familiar with it, the investment house, right? Trading
Yes.
house. They've had a lot of problems with their traders doing shenanigans and getting caught doing shenanigans. Well, the latest one, it's kind of funny. An FBI released an indictment that accused a former analyst for Goldman Sachs of insider trading, allegedly using an Xbox to pass tips to his friends about hot stocks that they should buy based on insider information. He and another several other people, but two people in particular, earned almost a $500,000 out of this scheme.
Wow.
So, Anthony Vigiano, who was a analyst for Goldman Sachs, and his alleged co-conspirator, Christopher Salamone, they're being charged with securities fraud. They got indicted on the 28th. Vigiano is accused of using his previous position at Goldman Sachs as an analyst to tip off Salamone and others to things that, stocks in small companies that they should have buy, really fairly obscure companies that he had inside information that something was about to happen. Things like, Maxar Technologies, there's one called Atlas Technical Consultant, tiny little companies. But one of the things that happened was Salamone provided a recording of that, or at least the FBI has a recording provided reportedly by Salamone of Anthony Vigiano, talking about the situation, about essentially proving their point. And his quote was, "Signal," in the video or in the audio. He says, "Quote, Signal, or like Xbox 360 chat. There's no tracing that. Good luck ever finding that." He said, "So, I mean, at worst, we're talking worst case scenario. Maybe I said something in like the very first message to see, but that's the worst case." They were concerned about someone ratting them out. And they were like, "Hey, it happened on Xbox." And He did say 360, not Xbox One. So I don't know if he was using an Xbox 360. I don't know if he was using an Xbox One and just called it a 360 or whatever.
So did
They
they
don't have any chat from the 360, unfortunately, at least to our knowledge. But he was like, "Yeah, 360. They can't find that stuff. No, it's
did
safe."
Microsoft give them a transcript, or did someone else record the conversation from their end?
According to reports, Salamone provided that recording of him talking about how he had done his deeds, had done essentially done this insider trading through Xbox chat. I don't know. There's no reports from the FBI, although the FBI wouldn't say that, but I'm sure the FBI knows where to look
I
now.
mean, look, you can just have the console output the voice on your TV and then just hold up a phone and be like,
Yeah.
so,
But
so
even so,
got any good
Xbox
tips?
does have that stuff. They have that information. They have all of
Oh,
your chat.
yeah, they're
They
absolutely
even now
recording
have
you.
AI that is actually listening to everybody's chat in order to try and filter out things like this, in order not to
Mhm.
try to find bad things happening,
Yeah,
like
or even just
terrorism
like,
and
you know,
CP and everything else that shouldn't be drug deals, everything that shouldn't be happening on a 360 that people are like, "Oh, they'll never find me at 360. They'll
yeah,
never find me." It's like, no, they have an AI that's actually looking for that stuff.
this just proves if you're doing shady stuff, the only way to truly not be traced is to find a park bench and to sit on opposite sides so that you're facing away and have a conversation that way.
Oh yeah, that nobody ever gets caught doing that.
Oh yeah, no, that's the tried and true way of spies and secrecy and espionage.
Leaving
And
leaving your what was it?
better yet, if you take out a paper newspaper and read that.
And then leave the newspaper behind. Did you hear that? Was it somebody I was hearing that they needed to get a microfilm to their point, they needed to do a deb drop.
Hmm.
So, they put the microfilm inside of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and they ate half of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then they just threw it in the garbage can, and then somebody came back and picked up the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, that is really clever.
Clever, I know. It's
That's
the
good.
safest way to have those kind of illicit conversations is by a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Hmm. That's true.
Anyway, yeah, so he found out he's very, 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 very wrong about the tracing of stuff. We will see how that
Yeah.
goes, but I would
Yeah.
imagine that there's a very long and very costly sentence in Mr. Vigiana's future.
Yeah.
Way more than the cost of an Xbox One to upgrade his 360 from.
Although it sounds like they got a pretty penny out of this scam. They
Yeah,
could have gotten a couple Xbox Ones.
yeah, unfortunately, they didn't buy a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
No.
Um,
Oh, jeez. Okay, I've got a couple more.
yeah.
Marvel's Spider-Man has sort of on the PlayStation blog, Insomniac has detailed a lot of the accessibility things that they're adding to it.
Mhm.
And one of them in particular stood out to me. First of all, you can change like really specific things. If you want to just give enemies more health, you can do that. If you
Mhm.
want enemies to have low health but high damage, you can do that. If you want like enemy difficulty to stay the same, but you want puzzles to be easier or harder, you can change that. Like the level of specificity with which you can customize the difficulty is really impressive. But then they also have a feature that will slow down the gameplay during combat. If you remember, I don't know if you played the Spider-Man game, but it's very similar to the Batman Arkham games in that it's a 3D action adventure game where you're one character fighting a big group.
Mhm.
And a lot of times you'll see a little flash above someone's head or like off screen that indicates an attack is coming. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of I'm going to attack this guy, then dodge this move, then attack this guy, then dodge this one and do this. So you're kind of juggling a lot of things at once. So one of the accessibility features is you can slow down time either to 70% of the original, 50% of the original, or 30% of the original. So you can make it really slow. That basically gives you all the time in the world to react to, you know, all the stuff happening around you, which I
Nice.
think is really, really cool.
Yeah. That is very cool.
Hmm.
And that's also nice, not just for people with accessibility. I mean, that's the thing is that when uh-oh, did my, are you still there?
I can hear you. You're frozen, but I can hear you.
Yeah, my computer, I think, just died on me.
Oh no.
I mean, it didn't die. I'm locked up. Like,
Okay. Like I said, I can
let me
still hear
see.
you.
Yeah, I know it's weird. Yeah, I mean, I can't control alt delete. I can't even get my I can't get anything up
Oh
or
no.
my
That's
uh-oh.
bad, bad.
Yeah, I can't even pull up the task manager. My control alt delete's not doing anything. All right, so you're gonna get me with that horrible look on my face, apparently. Um, yeah, that's unfortunate. Can you remove me from the chat, please? Oh no, just remove my picture. Just make you like
Oh, oh, okay, there she goes. Looks like the computer finally caught up with everything else. it took a moment. There's a bit of a like a minute delay there, but yeah. Let me text her. Okay, well, while we wait for her to rejoin, um, telling her to just reboot and rejoin. While she's doing that, I could talk about some of the other stuff that I have. Started disappointed Edie meme with that pic. You know what? We should have. When this is done, someone will have to screenshot that image because I don't have it now since she's gone. Um, but I can talk about I got a couple other news stories, and then we can stretch for time. Uh, Facebook, and I refuse to call them Meta, but Facebook announced and detailed the Meta Quest 3 headset. We kind of all knew this was coming, and yeah, they finally showed off some of the upgrades. First of all, it will be released for $500, which is actually a pretty good price. Was expecting it to be way more expensive. This is because this is supposed to be their high-end headset. This is not the Oculus Go was their kind of standalone. You don't need a cable for it, and it was like $200. And so that was like their low end entry into it. The Quest 3 headset is supposed to be with their high end thing. So releasing at $500 is like pretty affordable from a high end VR headset point of view.
mhm.
Some of the things that they showed off is just better graphics. And yes, the graphics definitely look way, way better. It's always interesting when you compare pixel sizes because they'll show this is what the old Meta did, and they'll have a little image like up here,
Mhm.
and then they show that's like 10 by 10 pixels. The Quest 3 has such a higher density of pixels that the image is like this big. So that seems really, really cool. More graphics is always better. That includes more shadows. It also includes legs, specifically legs in Meta, no, Horizon Worlds. Meta Horizon Worlds, I think, is the
Mhm.
full name for it. Basically the VR equivalent of what's the term for it? Uh, Metaverse, right? It's in the name. The, they're still going with the metaverse, and they've added legs to your Meta Horizon whatever guy. In case you want it, you'll no longer be just a floating torso. So that's neat. They've improved their hand tracking. And that doesn't just mean controller tracking. That actually means hand tracking, like Kinect-esque gestures, so that you can actually do both at the same time. You can do something with a controller in one hand. You can do gestures with another in the other hand, which, again, very cool. I don't know if it makes me want to get a Facebook peripheral, but goddamn, the things they have seem really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you can scan your room, which a lot of VR headsets do, but I guess the Quest 3 will allow you to pin objects into your room so that when you put on the headset, you can get a VR recreation of the room you're in, but you can also put VR objects in there that will stay in place. And what I find the funniest upgrade, just in time for Unity to nuke itself out of orbit, uh, the MetaQuest 3 will have drag and drop building blocks for Unity to pull features like pass through or hand tracking right into the game engine. So, right when Unity decides they don't want to be in game development anymore, the MetaQuest 3 comes out with a feature that makes it easier to develop Unity games. Oh, I will bet that someone at Facebook is like, we're too far along with this feature.
Right.
We
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 have
can't
to.
just pull it out. We have to release it, but
But
fucking Unity.
yeah,
Oh, the banner
that
still says Spider-Man.
huh?
The banner is still talking about
Oh,
Spider-Man.
yeah,
I
you
can.
didn't change the banner. That's your job, Nick, when I'm not here.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. No, whatever. Okay, you got it. You got it now. So yeah, the MetaQuest 3 by all means seems like a really cool headset.
Mhm.
I think the problem is that eh, after doing the demo the other day of the PSVR, it reminded
Mhm.
me, God, the PSVR is really cool. I'm
Is it?
actually I'm really looking forward to playing Saints and Sinners on the stream. I'm actually legit super excited to stream that game. And so, like, hey, VR games are cool, and maybe I would get a MetaQuest 3 at $500. It seems pretty affordable. The
Mhm.
problem is that that also requires a high-end computer, and I don't
Right.
know if my current laptop can do it. It's a really good laptop, so it probably can,
But
but I don't know if
that's
it
a terrible thing to find out after you've already put the money into the headset, just to find out that it really chucks.
exactly. So I'm happy to stick with the PSVR for now,
Mhm. Yeah.
but yeah, I will be interested to see how the MetaQuest 3 sells. Because in a lot of ways, it's equivalent to the PSVR, but $100 cheaper and also on PC. So it's kind of got a
Mhm.
wider audience. Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah.
And I am also happy that at least Facebook is still pumping money into the VR marketplace because VR games are cool and I want more companies to spend money there. It's a purely selfish request. I don't know if it's profitable for them, but I want them to make these cool peripherals.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be getting. I mean, there's a couple of things that I really need to get before I get a PSVR. I really need to get an Apple Watch. I really need to get an Apple
Mm,
Watch. That's something now that I have a Tesla, it's kind of a big thing.
mm.
And I'm taking the ferry because I can use the watch for not only opening up my car, which sometimes is a bit of a pain in the ass that I have to give my car a butt bump sometimes in the morning with my hands full and I'm trying to like make it recognize my phone in my back pocket. Um, but also I could use it to check on and off of the ferry and get charged, for my
Okay,
ferry rides
that's
for my
cool.
Clipper card. So, and there's enough use case there that it's starting to make sense. I probably would have bought that before the GoPro, but then, Bali happened. But I think that once I get the watch, then I'm gonna be buying the PSVR. And then we could do
Then you've
some.
got other some. You've got like a list of big purchases, and like the priority of them shifts up and down. I get that.
Yes. And the priority really ultimately comes down to can I afford them? I also don't want to be making a bunch of big purchases until I know how much taxes I'm paying this year.
Usually that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more story.
Mhm.
This one came from, I don't have a banner for it because this comes from Blood Reaper putting it into the Discord. EA is going to be shutting down a couple game servers at the end of 2023. And what's interesting is some of these games, you will be surprised, still have servers going. And others, you're going to be thinking, wait, did that have multiplayer?
Mhm.
So shutting down on September 7th is going to be Crisis 3.
Mhm.
And I remember that did have a multiplayer mode on it. Shutting down October
I just can't
10th,
believe that that's still going.
right?
I know, like really? That was up? Who
Shutting
knew?
down October 10th is Tiger Woods PGA Tour 14.
Oh God, really? They've kept that up for 9 years? Is there anybody that's still playing it?
I don't know. So kudos to EA for keeping these servers going for as long as they did.
Yeah. I mean, they probably didn't cost much. I mean, these are pretty low impact.
Yeah. Well, also, we'll get to some of these games at the end that I have tried not too long ago.
Uh-huh.
They're dead.
Yeah, they were
The
dead on
the
arrival.
servers are a graveyard.
Yeah.
Shutting down October 30th is a mobile game, Restaurant Dash Gordon Ramsay.
Oh,
Uh,
really? A restaurant dash. Interesting. Okay.
do you know Restaurant Dash?
Uh, I've watched some Let's Players play it.
Okay. November 6th has a lot of sports games. FIFA 18, 19, 20, and 21 are all getting their servers shut down.
21? Really?
And I imagine that is probably because EA no longer makes FIFA games. Remember? EA and
Mhm.
FIFA no longer embed together.
Probably, yeah.
So EA's like, hey, we're not supporting these games anymore. Go to
Right.
hell.
Right.
And then on December 8th, they are shutting down Battlefield 1943 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
Mm. God, that game is so I can't believe
Good,
that's still going because those things are broken AF.
good
I mean, I can't believe
memories. Good
oh,
memories of
great
those
memories.
games.
Best game that they never like followed up on. Oh, such a fun game.
Right?
Such a
The
fun
fact that you
game.
just get like this very simple downloadable mini Battlefield game, that was such a good idea.
Right.
Why
And then it
why
was
did they not do
and it
something
was just
more?
pandemonium. That's the thing. It was just hilarious pandemonium as opposed to most Battlefield games that it's very serious. This was just absolutely stupid arcade fun.
Mhm. So there's some other Battlefield games. Battlefield Bad Company and Bad Company 2 are
Bad
getting their
Company
servers
still
shut down.
had
They still had servers
servers?
up, and I know this because in 2020, when I got the Xbox Series X, it was backwards compatible. One of the first games I downloaded with backwards compatibility was Battlefield Bad Company 2. I tried to play online. I got into a match with
I think
one
other
one other
person.
person who was in a fucking helicopter and who just kept killing me over and over and over again.
I think I remember going into a match with you. I think I went in there as
Really?
well. Yeah, because that was the first RPG I ever played. That was
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the first FPS I ever played. That was the very first FPS because you and Chris had to essentially baby me in there because
I
I was terrified of it.
Yep, I remember playing that with Chris. Bad Company and Modern Warfare 2
Yep.
like made me with Chris made me get Xbox Live.
Yep. And look at
And
us. Now
still
we're making him getting
still
Xboxes. We made him get an
bad
Xbox.
Bad Company 2 still the best Bad Company still the best Battlefield multiplayer.
Oh, that's awesome. Good memories, good memories.
Yes. And then one more game, Dead Space 2 is also getting shut down because that game, you probably forgot, had a multiplayer mode.
It did?
That came out. Do you remember the era of video games where everything had a multiplayer mode?
Yeah, the Mass Effect 3
Right? Yeah,
era
Mass
where
Effect
they
had
just
one.
yeah,
Tomb
just
Raider had one.
shoehorned everything in
Everything.
there. Yep.
Dead Space 2 was one of those games. And the game
Interesting.
I don't remember, apparently the servers for Dante's Inferno are being shut down. And I don't think Dante's Inferno had a multiplayer mode. I don't
Really?
I don't know. Maybe it had a leaderboard.
Interesting. I did not
Blood
know
Reaper
that.
says he's so sad about Dead Space 2. For what it's worth, the Dead Space 2 multiplayer mode was pretty cool. It was
Mhm.
basically a Dead Space version of Left 4 Dead, where some people played as humans and other people played as aliens.
Interesting.
Chunnabox says a lot of hackers on bad company servers spoiled it for me. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah,
Especially,
that was why I needed Chris and Nick to babysit me because I was
I feel like
terrified.
it was fine then. I feel like now there's nothing left but hackers.
Right. Yeah, probably. Ooh,
So,
Kentucky Route Zero is on Android
oh yeah,
through Netflix.
that is a very good game. I the last time I tried playing it was in 2020, and I couldn't get through it. I
Yeah.
was just like, man, everything that this game talks about hits a little too close to home. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I want to delve that deep. Blood Reaper says hackers are everywhere. Get used to it.
Yeah, but still, even so,
Oh,
it
but they
doesn't mean you have to
suck.
yeah, they do suck. Um, all right, so I have nothing else, and I still have to finish up packing and do a bunch of
Okay,
cleaning and get ready for my dogs to be left for a month.
that was the last story I have.
All right.
I need to try to figure out how to switch my Disney bundle because those fuckers are jacking up their price and they're offering. I can't just change my bundle. I need to like call customer service.
Yeah. They're the new Comcast.
Ah, it's so
Another
frustrating.
one that's like that is Zoom. Oh god, if you ever get Zoom for business and then you need
Really?
to yeah, if you get a Zoom account for business and then you need to like, "Oh, we've downgraded or we don't want this service anymore." You can't do it yourself and you cannot get a hold of them for love or money. I had to essentially go onto Twitter and say, "I can't believe how sorry I am that we switched from Ring Central to Zoom because I've been trying for almost a month now to cancel some plans and no one is
Ugh,
returning my call." Which means that I just spent another month on 2 plans I don't want.
yeah.
And then it was like after I did that, then first off, Ring Central is like, "What do we have to do to make it come back?" And then next was, uh yeah, somebody finally got a hold of me, but it was like I had to hunt them down because there's no phone number. There's no phone number for Zoom. Whereas Ring Central at least has a phone number. I mean, they're a fucking phone company, right? But no, there's no phone number for Zoom.
Hmm.
Yeah. You have to do it by text.
God, what a pain in the
For a
ass.
company that essentially has phones. That's our fucking phone company. Can't take a fucking phone call.
AC Wraith also mentioned something he had put in the Discord this week that the Rebel Galaxy games are in a bundle for $1 on fanatical.com.
Oh wow.
I agree with him. Those are two like really cool games. I haven't actually played the second one, and to have
Mhm.
that for a buck is super cool. Blood Reaper just quickly said, I guess some Diablo 2 hackers just won $5,000 and the hacker will see jail time for Diablo 2. I don't know about that. And then Chunda recommended I wait for the Black Friday sale. The Hulu and Disney bundle will be cheap as chips.
Ah,
I,
that's a good thought.
I would, except I use Hulu like on a near daily basis. And their plan switches over on October, like middle of October. I don't know if I could go 2 months without Hulu.
Ooh. Well, middle of October, that's not 2 months, it's like 1.5 months.
Oh, true. That's like 1 month.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
you'll be fine.
oh, he means Destiny 2. The
Oh,
Destiny 2
Destiny 2.
hackers.
Okay.
And it made him $500,000.
Well done.
So yes,
All
Bungie
right.
Bungie won $5,000 suit against the
Any
hackers.
parting thoughts? This is the next last time you're gonna see me for a month. We have not gone. How long have you been on the show?
Oh, a while.
12 years?
About that, definitely more than 10.
This is the longest that you and I will go without having seen each other in more than a decade.
Yeah. I mean, if you do a stream, we'll
Yeah,
see you. I can talk to you over Discord.
true, but it's like we aren't gonna actually be with a show for a whole month.
Yeah, no show.
It's a little weird for me to be
Hey,
walking
hey.
away from this has never happened. It's a little weird for me to be walking away from all you guys for a whole month. So please be here when I come back. Please be here when I come back. And please watch Nick because he's gonna be lonely without me.
So long. I won't know what to do.
You're not gonna know what to do. You're gonna be so lonely without me.
Oh, no, I'm sure I'm gonna like run to some sort of technical difficulty with streaming and be like, motherfucker, where's Edie? She knows all this stuff. What do I do? How do I do this?
You know what they call me at work?
What?
The Edie button.
I'm not gonna have my Edie button. Oh my god. We need to get one of those
Yes.
Staples Easy buttons
Yes.
and rename
Yes.
it Edie.
Exactly. I've been wanting to do that for years. Go back when I worked with it before, get the Edie button. Mhm. So, sorry, you're not gonna have your Edie button, but you know what? You can always send me an email and I can reply, in 12 hours. But I'll endeavor to wake up early on a Sunday morning, at least 1 or 2 of those Sunday mornings to see your gameplay and to check in with you. So you're gonna be streaming not on YouTube.
No, it will only be on Twitch because I will
Okay.
be streaming through the PS5 and that
Mhm.
only streams to Twitch.
Got it. So, everyone, if you watch on YouTube, like I'm seeing Bitters is on YouTube, Blood Reaper's watching on YouTube. Who else is watching on YouTube? A couple other people here on YouTube. Next month, it's Twitch only. So, if you don't have a Twitch account, I know some people are against having a Twitch account. Just do it for a month. It's fine. Use a fake Gmail account or something, but get yourself a Twitch account and watch Nick then.
Yeah. Also,
And
you sign up for a Twitch account because there's a lot of good streamers on
there's
Twitch.
a lot of good, including me.
And the thing is, like, you don't have to pay for it. I know you can like pay for subs and like I think it's if you subscribe to a Twitch streamer, that's when you like pay them $5 a month. But if you just follow them,
Yeah.
then you don't, or maybe it's the other way around. I forget the terminology.
Yeah, I
But
know.
I
Follow versus subscribe. It is. So if you
okay,
follow us, you can't imagine how much a difference that makes to follow us on Discord. It's re it's not Discord, on Twitch. It really, really, really does make a difference. So if you don't have a Twitch account, please go to Twitch. I don't want to say make a fake account, but if maybe a non-usual Gmail account or Hotmail or how Yahoo account, whatever you want to use that makes you feel comfortable. Make yourself a Twitch account and then follow us on Twitch because that's also super important. And then also, check in instead of doing it on YouTube. Check in with Nick on Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern for the month of October.
yes, and let me see. My current plan now, let me get a calendar open, is on the 8th and the 15th. I think I'll be streaming the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners VR game
Mhm.
because that's the top voted one by a pretty wide margin. And then 22nd and 29th, I will probably split those between Callisto Protocol and Saturnalia.
You know what I was thinking is you might be. When we end the show, you and I will talk. There might actually be a way that we can stream on YouTube. It's kind
Okay.
of kludgy. It's super kludgy, but it might work.
Okay. We can experiment with that.
But yeah, but in the meantime, I'm sorry. Blood Reaper says Twitch doesn't want to open with the internet, so I came here.
No.
Try and see what you can do. But otherwise, I'm really sorry. I'll try to
Yeah.
find some solution for you, but no promises. But chances are it's just going to be on Twitch. All right.
Yeah, very likely.
Thank you. Streams only on Twitch for the next month. Please remember to come back for Nick. Otherwise, he will be very sad and lonely. And yes, absolutely, Chunderbox. If I can stream in there, out there, anywhere, if I have a strong enough signal wherever I go, I will try to stream for you
I
from
mean,
Bali.
you don't even have to stream. Like if you just take a video of you kind of driving through downtown Bali and you upload it, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, essentially what I do on the other channel
Yeah, exactly.
on the Daily Scoot. Yeah. And that's what I'm definitely going to be putting that on the Daily Scoot. But I'd also like to stream for you just so I could say hi to you and tell you how I'm doing and show you what's outside my door and you know the crazy stuff, and it's gonna be super interesting. Hey,
Ah.
Oxytocin, well timed for us
Yeah.
to just leave.
That's Bitters on Twitch.
Oh, really, Oxytocin?
Yeah, because
420?
he said Bitters Plus said Oxytocin 420. So I
Okay, got it.
I
Got
believe
it.
that's him. So now I know.
Good,
Yeah,
good. All
yes,
right, so we know.
he
No,
confirmed.
that's Bitters. Bitters is Oxytocin 420.
Yeah.
Got it. But Blood Reaper, we're still waiting for to see if we can get him on there.
Oh, he said it works now.
Okay, good. Good.
So that's good. Yes,
All right.
come use the voice the chat on PS5 and hear me constantly go, "Wait, what did you say? Say that again. Oh shit, there's a zombie here. I can't hear you.
Oh,
Give me a second."
If you hear
Oh,
somebody saying
oh.
moaning in the chat, you'll know it's me.
Mm-hmm. You'll log on just long enough to go, oh, 50 times.
and then log off.
Yeah.
Just to remind you I'm out there lurking.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you. I'm not even going to do the outro. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week. If you have just switched over from your YouTube channel to your Twitch channel, don't forget to follow us on Twitch right now. Have a great month. I will see you at the very minimum. I will see you on October. What's the first day of October? First Sunday in November. If
Oh,
at
the
the
5th.
very least I will see you on November 5th, and we will launch into essentially the preparation for Black Friday, because that's when all the Black Friday stuff, the sales and things are all going to happen. But I'm going to miss you. I'll talk to you in a month. Have a great
Yes.
month, everyone.
Chunda says, have a great trip.
I'm looking forward to it. I feel better just knowing I'm going to be in your hemisphere. Talk to y'all later, everyone. Bye-bye.